Chapter 61, 52 Chaos Tablets. A black stream of light streaked across the sky and arrived in an instant. A man in a black robe, his head covered with green scales, stepped out and called, "Nine-Sword Exalt." Nine-Sword Exalt inclined his head. "I'll leave them all to you," he said, then climbed into an odd spacecraft and departed. The black-robed man turned and smiled at the assembled geniuses. His voice was deep and resonant, drawing everyone's attention. "Your Highnesses, I am the reception envoy of Primordial Chaos City." After Nine-Sword Exalt left, the envoy led the group forward. "The city before you is Primordial Chaos City," he announced. "It is a holy site of the human race, older than most of the universe countries you hail from. It is jointly administered by Virtual Universe Corporation, the Great Axe Battleground, Universe First Bank, Universe Galaxy Bank, and the Universe Mercenary Alliance." The geniuses fell silent and listened as the envoy explained the city. The streets of Primordial Chaos City were astonishingly wide enough for dozens of people to walk side by side. Yue Ming looked around, noting the small, exquisite buildings lining the thoroughfares. On the roofs of many of those buildings, people of various human types sat cross-legged, their auras immensely powerful. "Another group of youngsters has arrived," someone nearby murmured. "I heard this session of the Peak Genius Battle produced two remarkable geniuses, Bolin and Yue Ming. They appear once every 10,000 eras." "Your information's out of date," another replied. Nine-Sword Exalt sealed the news, so it only spread later. "Bolin might be that rare, but Yue Ming, he's the kind you see once every 10 million eras." "I've heard the same." Yue Ming's said to have cultivated the first layer of the water-space fusion law to the astral rank. He was even taken as a personal disciple by a great universe lord. At the edge of the universe rift, many great beings hovered and exchanged gossip. Nine-Sword Exalt had tried to block news 3 years ago, but nothing stays sealed forever. Slowly, word of Yue Ming had leaked out. "Remember," the envoy warned as he led them deeper into the city, "there are many powerful beings cultivating in seclusion here. Do not disturb them. If you do, you will be expelled from the primal universe. Your chance to comprehend the treasures here will be gone." They stopped in front of an unoccupied small building. A pale white door marked it empty. "There are many such dwellings in Primordial Chaos City," the envoy said. "A pale white door means no one currently lives here. If you place your hand on the door for a moment, the sensing system will activate and the door will turn dark gray. The building will then be recorded as yours. Each of you may choose a residence." Before anyone touched a door, the envoy added, "One more very important rule. In the primal universe, humans are forbidden from killing each other. Anyone who violates that rule will die. No matter who you are, even universe country lords cannot flout the laws of Primordial Chaos City. Do you understand?" "Understood," the geniuses answered in unison, serious faces all around. "Follow me," the envoy said. They continued on to the city lord's mansion. The mansion rose like a mountain, some 300 meters tall, its facade carved with 3 huge characters, City Lord's Mansion. Even looking at those characters made the mind uneasy. They seemed to contain their own enclosed space, their own universe. Thought felt like it was being slowly absorbed into the cosmic void within the strokes of the characters. Everyone instinctively averted their eyes. "I wonder if the Primordial Chaos City Lord is watching us," Yue Ming thought. But he knew that if such a being wished to observe them, no ordinary detection could perceive it. To be safe, Yue Ming had sold the treasures in his space-time jammer small world, the divinity and enlightenment cushion and the like, to the chat group mall before coming to the primal universe. He wasn't short on points now. He could buy them again if needed. "Don't stare at those 3 characters," the envoy cautioned with a smile. "One glance is enough. Staring makes your thoughts wander uncontrollably. Even undying beings rarely dare to gaze at them for long." He went on. "Primordial Chaos City is the only city in the primal universe, and it holds 3 supreme treasures. The first is the visible, external operation of the law of universe origin. The second is the Chaos Tablets, kept in the City Lord's Mansion. The third is the Chaos True Spirit, located outside the city. There are 52 Chaos Tablets," he continued. "Each tablet is inscribed with many mysterious patterns. These 52 steles represent 52 Taos of cultivation, paths that lead directly to the peak. If anyone can truly comprehend a chaos tablet, they will rise to become a genuine super being in the universe. Founding a universe country would then be only a matter of time. Excitement rippled through the group. 52 tablets, 52 peak-leading DAOs. Comprehending just one could catapult someone to the top. The chaos true spirit is described on the stone tablet at the city gate. You'll learn more when you see it yourselves, the envoy added. As for the chaos tablets, every cultivator who enters the primal universe gets one opportunity to comprehend a tablet. Each person's comprehension time is 7 days. Only 7 days? Several of the geniuses said in disbelief. 7 days is more than sufficient for you youngsters, the envoy replied. The Chaos Tablet is the supreme treasure of our race. It guides the Tao to the peak more directly than any secret technique. He led them inside the city lord's mansion. The interior was vast, so large that the small band of geniuses felt like ants in a stadium. Each person may choose only one Chaos Tablet to observe and attempt to comprehend, the envoy said. They arrived at the entrance to a dreamlike corridor. Giant murals hung on both walls. These are rubbings of the 52 Chaos Tablets, he explained. Each mural corresponds to one tablet. Though these rubbings cannot convey even 1/10,000th of the true aura and profound mysteries contained in the actual Chaos Tablets, they will let you sense a faint trace. Observe these 52 murals, then decide which Chaos Tablet you wish to study. Chapter 62, Heavenly Bridge, Part 1. Everyone carefully examined the paintings hanging along the corridor, trying to decide which Chaos Tablet they were best suited to comprehend. Each painting was a standard 10 meters square, and next to it, the tablet's name was written in ancient script. You have half an hour. Begin, the reception envoy announced. Like wolves smelling blood, everyone's eyes sharpened and they hunched over the paintings. Fortunately, each person had an intelligent optical computer to time them. Otherwise, a half hour might have been wasted staring at a single image. Half an hour is up. Tell me which Chaos Tablet you've chosen. I'll record it. I choose the Dragon Walk Chaos Tablet. I choose the Wind Shadow Chaos Tablet. I choose the Great Axe Chaos Tablet. The reception envoy walked from the outer edge of the corridor inward, calling each candidate's choice. When it was Yue Ming's turn, he answered without hesitation. I choose the Ice Peak Chaos Tablet. If Yue Ming remembered correctly, the Ice Peak Tablet should belong to his teacher, the Ice Peak Lord. It contained the water and space origin laws, making it the most suitable one for him. Beside him, Luo Feng picked the 9-Universe Chaos Tablet, while Hong chose the Dark Shadow Chaos Tablet, which contained the light and time origin laws, a perfect match for Hong. I have recorded your choices. Follow me. After the reception envoy finished entering everyone's selections, he led them to an empty cultivation ground inside the city lord's mansion. The ground was vast, dozens of kilometers across. There are 52 Chaos Tablet comprehension chambers. 12 are occupied. The other 40 are empty. If your chamber is free, follow me now and I'll take you to it. If not, wait here. Do not open another person's chamber while they are comprehending. You may only enter when their session is finished. Yue Ming's chosen chamber happened to be vacant, so he didn't have to wait. The envoy led them down a corridor lined with massive bronze doors on both sides. Each door was about 160 meters wide and 120 meters tall, inscribed with ancient characters naming the corresponding Chaos Tablet. In front of each door stood an old man with a kindly face. Strangely, the men all looked exactly alike. Kandri, Your Highness, the reception envoy said, bowing. The old man smiled as he regarded the group. New batch from the Virtual Universe Corporation, he said. Yes, Kandri, Your Highness, the envoy replied with obvious respect. He turned to the others. This is Kandri, Your Highness, guardian of the Chaos Tablet cultivation chambers. Before each of these 52 chambers stands an incarnation of Kandri. Kandri has guarded these chambers for millions of eras and is a revered figure in primordial Chaos City. Kandri, Your Highness, everyone echoed and bowed. Kandri's voice carried through the corridor. Be patient. The group inside is almost finished. After 5 or 6 minutes, several of the bronze doors rumbled open. Chaotic chi swirled within the chambers, obscuring the interior. Everyone, come out! Kandri called, his voice echoing and reverberating into the linked minds. Figures shot out of the swirling chi, and Kandri announced, "Those who chose the Ice Peak, Dragon Walk, and Heartmark Chaos Tablets, enter now. In 7 days your doors will open. Come out immediately when they do." "Understood," they replied. Yue Ming stepped into his comprehension chamber. It was vast, chaos chi spiraling and eddying through the air. At the center, a gigantic stone tablet stood, faintly visible through the mists of energy. The tablet rose nearly 100 meters and bore intricate patterns. Along its edge, the universal common language characters read Ice Peak. Yue Ming sat cross-legged beneath it and began his comprehension, letting his mind sink into the tablet's resonance. Time passed. The bronze doors opened with a rumble, but those inside remained lost in comprehension. Only when Kandri's voice began to press insistently into their minds did they stir. The booming call grew louder and louder until everyone snapped awake, dizzy and reeling from the sudden intrusion. The effect of the Chaos Tablet was undeniable, an extraordinary aid in understanding origin laws. It was not quite on the level of a divine spark, but it was close enough to make the effort worthwhile. "Everyone, wait a moment," Kandri's voice said again. As the group prepared to leave, Kandri addressed them. "Since this is your first time in the primal universe, a few words of advice. First, choose a small building as your cultivation residence. That will be your home for the next 30 years. Then, enter the virtual universe and apply to enter the Heavenly Bridge." "The Heavenly Bridge?" a few whispered. "Go into the virtual universe and you'll understand," Kandri replied without elaborating. No one pressed him. After leaving the City Lord's mansion, they scattered to pick their residences. Primordial Chaos City was enormous. Apart from a few special structures, most cultivation houses were nearly identical. Doors that glowed pale white meant the house had no owner. Yue Ming had no special preferences, so he picked a modest building. He stood before the door and placed his hand on it. The door beeped, and its color deepened from light white to dark gray. "Welcome, Master," an electronic voice said. "I am the Service Intelligent Optical Computer. During your residence, I will serve you. If you require food, drink, or anything else, just ask." "Understood," Yue Ming replied. The first floor was a spacious living area, fully equipped. Upstairs, the second floor was a bedroom for rest. The third floor opened onto a broad rooftop where cultivation took place. After familiarizing himself with his new home, Yue Ming logged into the virtual universe and arrived at Yuxiang Mountain, Primal Region, Manor number 213. "Your Highness," a cluster of servants and guards greeted him with a salute. "Beibei, apply to enter the Heavenly Bridge." Beibei immediately contacted the virtual universe main system and submitted the application. A clear voice echoed in Yue Ming's mind. "Identity confirmed, Yue Ming. You have permanently obtained qualification to enter the Heavenly Bridge, commencing teleportation." Yue Ming's figure vanished from the manor and reappeared in a special plane. Chapter 63, Under the Tongtian Bridge. In the virtual universe, there was a peculiar plane, an endless ocean with a single, beautiful island at its center. Around the island's rim sat 52 docks, each sprouting a bridge that stretched into mist and mystery. The bridges were veiled in colored fog, dreamy and opaque. Nothing beyond their haze could be seen. Yue Ming appeared in the square at the island's center. More than 100 people had gathered there. They were all contestants in this session's peak genius battle. "Yue Ming, if you don't understand anything, you can ask Custodian Ba Fen," someone kindly reminded. "Thank you for the reminder," he replied with a smile and a nod, then scanned the square. At its center stood a black-robed figure. He was the custodian of the Tongtian Bridge Plane, unusual in appearance, with 4 ears and no nose, of an uncertain race. "Hello, Custodian Ba Fen." Yue Ming bowed respectfully as he approached. "Hello, Yue Ming. I am Custodian Ba Fen of the Tongtian Bridge Plane." The custodian smiled and bowed in return. "May I ask Custodian Ba Fen to explain the rules of the Heavenly Bridge?" Yue Ming asked. "I'll explain it now. Everyone, gather around so I don't have to repeat myself," Ba Fen said. This Tongtian Bridge Plane was created for the 52 Chaos tablets stored in Primordial Chaos City. Each bridge corresponds to one tablet. Whichever Chaos tablet you are studying, you should challenge its corresponding Tongtian bridge. If you pass the first level of a bridge, you earn 1 chance to comprehend the Chaos tablet. Each additional level you clear grants another chance. But be warned, the Tongtian bridges are extremely difficult. Many of you probably won't even clear the first level. Generally, undying beings reach the 10th level. 18 levels is nearly unbeatable among undying beings. Reach level 21, and you can become a universe exalt. Work hard. These bridges are paths to the peak. Countless members of the human race in the universe follow these 52 schools. Also, if you can pass the 18th level, you'll receive permanent residency in Primordial Chaos City. No other conditions required. Ba Fen's tone was patient as he finished laying out the plane's rules. Bolin is here, someone called out. The crowd turned as Bolin materialized in the square. His gaze swept across the assembly and settled on Yue Ming. Bolin had chosen the Universe Chaos Tablet, a choice few made because of its difficulty. He had only finished comprehending it about half an hour after Yue Ming. Learning that Yue Ming had entered the Tongtian bridge plane and was preparing to challenge a bridge, Bolin hadn't even bothered choosing a residential plot. He immediately applied to come here, clearly intent on competing with Yue Ming again. The Dragon Walk Heavenly Bridge is open. Who will challenge it? Ba Fen announced. I will. A genius from the Heaven and Earth secret realm raised his hand, then transformed into a streak of light and flew toward the Dragon Walk Bridge. But 2 minutes later he emerged, defeated. Ba Fen shook his head. Failed. Didn't even pass the first level. Next. One failure. Next. Failed. Next. In half an hour, more than a dozen geniuses had tried and failed, all falling at the first level. The Universe Heavenly Bridge is open. Anyone willing to challenge it? I will, Bolin answered. He became a streak of light and entered the Universe Bridge. After about 5 minutes, Custodian Ba Fen announced with a smile. Bolin has passed the first level of the Heavenly Bridge. So far, more than 60 newcomers in this session have tried the bridges, and of those, only Bolin has passed the first level. Bolin has passed the second level as well, Ba Fen added 10 minutes later. The crowd erupted. So many had failed to pass level 1, yet Bolin had cleared 2 levels. It was an astonishing gap. Bolin emerged shortly after, having been stopped at the 3rd level. He did not leave. He waited as if expecting Yue Ming to begin his own challenge. The Ice Peak Tongtian Bridge is open. Who will take it? Ba Fen called. I will. Yue Ming stepped out of the crowd, transformed into a streak of light, and flew toward a bridge that stretched so far it seemed to meet the horizon. The stone tablet before it read Ice Peak. The bridge stretched to the ends of the world, wrapped in mist and white fog, the sea roaring far below. The moment he set foot on the Ice Peak Bridge, Bebe's voice chimed in his mind. Master, the virtual universe system has sent a message. What does it say? It's the Heavenly Bridge point reward rules. Yue Ming already knew the basic rules. Passing the first level awarded 100 points, the second an additional 200, and the reward doubled with each subsequent level. But there was a special rule for newcomers in Primordial Chaos City. If you challenged a bridge within 30 years of entering the city, your point rewards were multiplied by 10. Choose your opponent, the bridge's mechanism instructed. You may choose a martial artist, a Psyker Master controller, or a Psyker Master illusionist. Defeat your chosen opponent to pass the first level. I choose martial artist. Yue Ming's voice was calm. Immediately, a black liquid oozed from the clouds and condensed in midair, forming a mysterious figure wearing a black mask. Yue Ming drew his long sword, activated the Water Origin Law, and unleashed the secret technique Water Sky One Line. His blade sliced through the air in a single, flawless stroke. The masked guardian disintegrated under the attack. The first level was far too easy for him. Yue Ming has passed the first level of the Heavenly Bridge, Custodian Ba Fen announced the instant the guardian fell. Is that possible? That fast? It was only a few dozen seconds. No surprise he passed the first level, but the speed, as expected of the first-place contender in this session's peak genius battle, unstoppable. Chapter 64, Clearing 6 Levels in a Row. Ba Fen just sent a message. The prodigy from this peak genius battle is currently challenging the Heavenly Bridge. Should we go watch? Let's go. It's rumored the prodigy cultivated a fusion law at the astral rank and was accepted as a personal disciple by a great universe lord. I want to see if that's true. It's likely. Cultivating a fusion law at the astral rank would be terrifying talent. No wonder a great universe lord noticed him. A fusion law. Even I, an undying, find those hard to grasp, and a young astral rank cultivated one? No wonder everyone's calling him a prodigy. Word that Yue Ming was challenging the heavenly bridge spread fast. Dozens of undying beings sent wisps of consciousness into the Tongchen bridge plane. In less than a minute, dozens had gathered in the square. Zhenyan, Tongnan, you're here too. Longyu, it's been a while. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect so many. Everyone's clearly curious about that young man. I just want to see if he really cultivated a fusion law, as the rumors say. Ba Fen, show the video of Yue Ming on the heavenly bridge. Ba Fen immediately pulled up the recording. Everyone present was at champion level, so they had the authority to watch the geniuses challenge the heavenly bridge. Why is he moving so fast? He's already passed the second level and reached the third. In the video, Yue Ming had reached the end of the third level and was choosing his opponent for that stage. Choose your opponent. You may choose a martial artist, a psyker master controller, or a mental force illusionist. Defeat your choice and you pass the third level. I choose the martial artist. At Yue Ming's words, a black liquid flew from the clouds and condensed into a mysterious figure wearing a black mask. The guardian of the third level looked like the ones from the first two levels. The form was the same, only its strength had increased. Water, sky, one line, 7-layered space. Yue Ming did not use a fusion law here. The guardians of the first 3 levels could be handled with ordinary secret techniques. After killing the third-level guardian, Yue Ming advanced to the 4th level and again chose a martial artist as his opponent. The guardian's strength had risen more than a grade. To end the fight quickly, Yue Ming used a fusion law for the first time. He drew his long sword and casually thrust out a sword light. With the terrifying power of the water space fusion law, the 4th-level guardian had no chance to resist and was killed by a single sword strike. It's definitely a fusion law. I had my doubts, but I didn't expect it's true. New geniuses keep appearing generation after generation. Seeing Yue Ming use a fusion law, the undying all sighed. At the 5th level, the guardian was stronger still. After a brief exchange, Yue Ming used the fusion law attack secrets of the ice sealing heaven and earth to kill his opponent. Among those secrets, besides techniques that aid in comprehending a fusion law, there are also fusion law attack techniques. So far, Yue Ming had mastered only one move, 1,000 miles of ice seal. The power of a fusion law is indeed astonishing. The first 5 levels are no pressure for him. The 6th level shouldn't be hard either. Let's see if he can make the 7th. Want to bet? I bet he can't pass the 7th level. All right, I bet he can pass it. How about a pot of ice frost jade liquid wine? Deal. Undying in the square chatted animatedly, and some even placed bets. Choose your opponent. You may select a martial artist, a psyker master controller, or a mental force illusionist. Defeat your choice and you pass the 6th level. I choose the martial artist. Yue Ming quickly reached the end of the 6th level. He again chose a martial artist. 1,000 miles of ice seal. This time, Yue Ming went all out from the start, unleashing 1,000 miles of ice seal. A blue sword light streaked across the void realm, cutting the void like paper and leaving a long, thin rift. The sword light moved like teleportation, appearing instantly before the guardian. The guardian's pupils narrowed. The blue sword light was too fast for him to react. The surrounding space and time seemed frozen. He couldn't move. The blue sword light pierced his chest and emerged from his back. He was shredded into powder by the attack's tearing power. With my current strength, I probably won't be able to pass the 7th level of the heavenly bridge. Yue Ming chose not to continue and exited the heavenly bridge. Having mastered only one fusion law attack technique, tackling the 7th level would be difficult. If he settled down to cultivate a few more fusion law attack techniques, his chances would improve. Why did he stop? Every 3 levels are a major hurdle, and the 7th is tougher than the previous 6 combined. But with his strength, he should at least try it, right? He went offline. No one was truly surprised. Yue Ming passed the 6th level. After all, he had the first level of the water space fusion law. What everyone wanted to see was whether he could get through the 7th, and his stopping there felt like a tease. Yue Ming actually cleared 6 levels. How is this possible? How can he be so strong? Bolin only passed the second level. Sigh, I couldn't even get past the first. I was killed instantly by the Guardian. Many geniuses were disheartened. While they couldn't clear the first level, Yue Ming had cleared 6 in a row. The gap was unimaginable. Bolin. Bolin narrowed his eyes and murmured. A flicker of determination crossed his face. He had decided to stop cultivating space and time equally and to focus on space as primary, time as secondary. Otherwise, he feared he would never catch up to Yue Ming. As soon as Yue Ming exited the virtual universe, he saw a figure waiting outside his cultivation residence, third senior sister. Congratulations, junior brother. You cleared the first 6 levels on your first attempt at the Heavenly Bridge. Venerable Xuan Yu smiled. It's just a small feat, third senior sister. Please come in. Yue Ming invited Venerable Xuan Yu into the small building. In fact, even if she hadn't come, he had already planned to go find her. Chapter 65. Refining Treasures. Junior brother, Master ordered me to deliver these 2 peak treasures to you personally, Venerable Xuan Yu said. However, your universe rank is still too low to activate the Ice Seal Sword for now. The soul-suppressing orb, though, can be integrated directly into your soul. She produced 2 peak treasures. The Ice Seal Sword had a blade as thin as a cicada's wing, pale blue and giving off a faint chill. The soul-suppressing orb was the size of a ping-pong ball, yet weighed 1,000 jin. It was jet black, etched with intricate secret markings and wreathed in a dark mist. Yue Ming accepted the 2 treasures. He stored the Ice Seal Sword away immediately. His current universe rank wasn't high enough to activate it. The soul-suppressing orb, however, was a soul defense treasure. It only needed to be merged with the soul to automatically protect its owner. This feeling, Yue Ming murmured as he pressed the orb to his brow. The orb dissolved into black mist and enveloped his soul like a gauze veil. With the peak treasure and the soul suppression secret techniques he had cultivated, his soul now had double protection. He felt completely secure. Soul suppression combined attack, defense, and enslavement. He had only mastered the defensive techniques so far. His next step would be to cultivate the enslavement branch. Junior brother, about the star fruit you mentioned last time in the virtual universe. With the treasures delivered, Venerable Xuan Yu turned to the matter of the exchange. Yue Ming opened his small world and produced the 15 star fruit he had prepared. A sweet, fruity scent filled the air. Each fruit glimmered with faint starlight, crystalline and speckled like tiny celestial bodies. Venerable Xuan Yu did not hesitate. She picked one up and ate it. She closed her eyes and sat cross-legged. The star fruit's effect is excellent. My gene level has increased tenfold, she exclaimed. She opened her eyes with a delighted smile. After eating the single fruit, her gene level had risen to 60 times her previous baseline, a sudden tenfold leap, yet she showed no outward surge of aura, a sign of near-perfect control. This is the Flowing Cloud Ice Blade, a common offensive treasure, she said, producing a long weapon. Its shape was odd, more like a carved stick than a conventional blade, carved from ice. I'll exchange it for the star fruit. What do you think, junior brother? Of course, Yue Ming replied. They made the swap. Venerable Xuan Yu took 14 star fruit, and Yue Ming stored away the Flowing Cloud Ice Blade. Junior brother, you already have the Ice Seal Sword. Master prepared it especially for you, and it's perfectly suited to the water-space fusion law. You probably won't need the Flowing Cloud Ice Blade, she advised. You could sell it to the Virtual Universe Corporation and use the treasure points to exchange for items in the human race treasury. However, although members of the primitive mystical region have status in the Virtual Universe Corporation, your authority is still limited. Many treasures in the human race treasury are beyond your exchange privileges. If you need help, come to me. Yue Ming nodded. I'll consider it seriously, but my cultivation is still low. It's too soon for that. If I need help later, I'll come to you. He had no intention of selling the Flowing Cloud Ice Blade to the Virtual Universe Corporation. He planned to sell it in the chat group mall for points. Venerable Xuan Yu smiled. I'll be in Primordial Chaos City for the next 30 years. If you run into doubts in your cultivation, come find me. Understood, third senior sister. After she left, Yue Ming opened the space-time jammer small world. The instant he entered, A probing gaze pierced through space-time and swept over it. In the primordial Chaos City Lord's mansion, the primordial Chaos City Lord opened his eyes. His gaze, deep as the starry heavens, raked toward the place Yue Ming had vanished, but he withdrew it quickly. Many people cultivated in their small worlds. He would not intrude on such private matters. He could see through ordinary world rings at a glance, but Yue Ming's small world could block his detection. If he wished, he could force his way in, but that would alert Yue Ming, and the city lord had no desire to do so. Everyone kept secrets. As long as Yue Ming was human and posed no threat to the human race, that was enough. A hundredfold gene, a special soul, mastery of the water-space fusion law at the astral rank, the city lord murmured. An interesting young man. Perhaps there is a sliver of hope for him to become a universe lord someday. Satisfied, he withdrew. Yue Ming breathed easier. It seems the primordial Chaos City Lord doesn't plan to pry into my small world. I can cultivate here in peace. He cultivated honestly for several days, and with no one forcing entry, he finally relaxed. Sell Flowing Cloud Iceblade. Congratulations, you have gained 250,000 points. Can the point data be modified? All those zeros are giving me a headache. Please change the point unit yourself. Let's calculate points in trillions. He'd been joking, but to his surprise, the point display could indeed be adjusted. 10,000 10,000s make 100 million, and 10,000 100 millions make a trillion. Switching the unit to trillions made the numbers more manageable. Swallowed star. Yue Ming rank, 3rd tier, folded. Golden finger, law fusion device, points, 250,000 trillion. Yue Ming had already had several 100 million trillion points before, but compared to 250,000 trillion, that earlier amount was negligible and didn't even show on the panel. Points no longer mattered as much to him. The truly valuable items in the chat group mall couldn't be bought with points anyway. Still, 250,000 trillion points would be enough for him to use up to his breakthrough to Undying. After that, on the outside territory battlefield, earning large sums of points would be easy. Hunting champion-class alien tribes there could bring in a flood of treasures. Besides, with a powerful backer now and the ability to sell gene-enhancing treasures, he could keep his balance and steadily earn what he needed, even if the pace was slower. Chapter 66, Universe Rank 9. My cultivation realm is too low right now. I can earn points by selling treasures that boost gene level. Once my cultivation realm is higher, I can go to the outside territory battlefield, various secret realms, and even the Universe Sea to sweep them. Yue Ming opened the chat group mall and searched for Tier 4 treasures. He quickly found 2 that fit, an Enlightenment Stone and an Ice Spirit Fruit. Purchase Enlightenment Stone, Ice Spirit Fruit. 207 trillion points deducted. Both were Tier 4 treasures. The Ice Spirit Fruit improved comprehension, while the Enlightenment Stone assisted in enlightenment, like an enlightenment cushion, but stronger, since the stone was Tier 4 and the cushion only Tier 3. I can't afford Tier 5 treasures yet. The Enlightenment Stone will have to do. I'll sell more treasures over the next few years and buy Tier 5 later. Yue Ming picked up the Ice Spirit Fruit and swallowed it in a few bites. A coolness spread through his head and his thoughts sharpened. He tapped them all again. Purchase Blood Dragon Fruit. 6 trillion points deducted. He took the Blood Dragon Fruit, a Tier 3 item meant to raise gene level, hoping to improve his perception of the universe origin and speed up his comprehension of origin law. But after consuming it, he felt nothing. Worse, he felt a faint resistance, as if the will of the original universe were holding him back. It was mentioned in the original work that ordinary life in this universe is capped at 100-fold gene level. 100-fold was the hard limit in the primordial universe. Divine body amplitude capped at 100-fold, soul amplitude capped at 100-fold, and life gene level capped at 100-fold. Those were ironclad rules, like how the fastest speed reachable in the primordial universe was the speed of light, and going faster meant entering the dark universe. No one could break those rules without external intervention. Examples existed. The 9 Tribulations Secret Codex from the Origin Continent, which allowed Luo Feng's Earth clone to break the 100-fold rule. Another way to bypass the cap was to take over a special life form through possession. If the possession succeeded, the body changed while some physical talents and the life gene level might be inherited even if soul techniques disappeared. If my gene level can't increase for now, I'll break through to universe rank 9 first. Breaking the primordial universe's ironclad rules wasn't easy. Yue Ming could think of only two options: buy tier 6 treasures to shield against the original universe's will, he lacked the points for that, or leave the primordial universe and go to other worlds to raise his gene level. The second option was simple: accept a mission from the chat group and travel to the mission world. Bebe, help me apply for a nutrient capsule. Okay, master. He exited the small world and asked Bebe to apply. Soon, a representative from the Virtual Universe Corporation answered a video call. A beautiful green-haired woman in a white robe appeared. Hello, Your Highness Yue Ming. Did you just apply for a nutrient capsule? Yes. Okay, Your Highness. We'll deliver the nutrient capsule to your residence within a day. Wait, I want to apply for 100 portions. What are the conditions? 100 portions, please hold. The woman looked surprised, left briefly, and returned. Your Highness Yue Ming, the higher-ups have approved. The nutrient solution will be increased to 100 portions free of charge. Thank you. 2 hours later, someone arrived with the delivery. Your Highness Yue Ming, the nutrient capsule you applied for is in this spatial ring. Please check. A green-haired attendant in a white robe handed Yue Ming a spatial ring. He probed it with his consciousness. Inside was a 100-meter cube of space containing a huge nutrient capsule 5 meters long and wide and 2 meters high, with 100 barrels of nutrient solution beside it. Each barrel could let an ordinary Universe Rank 1 quickly advance to Universe Rank 9. Because Yue Ming had a 100-fold gene, the energy required to raise his cultivation realm was 100 times greater, but with 100 portions, he had the right quantity. Back at his cultivation residence, Yue Ming took the capsule and the barrels out of the ring and set them aside. The capsule lid opened automatically, revealing about half a container of light purple liquid, the nutrient solution. It gave off a faint chill. Yue Ming touched it. His finger's cells seemed to leap and absorb the solution. Let's begin. He stripped and entered the capsule. The cold nutrient solution enveloped him, a mere chill to someone at universe rank. The door closed, and the liquid seeped through his skin. Muscles, bones, skin, organs. His whole body changed at an astonishing pace. The effects were excellent. Normally, it would take hundreds or even thousands of years of hard cultivation for an ordinary person to break through from Universe Rank 1 to Universe Rank 9. Soaking in the nutrient solution reduced that to a few short months and brought him to the peak of Rank 9 in a fraction of the time. 2 months later, Yue Ming emerged from the capsule. His cultivation realm had indeed broken through to the peak of Universe Rank 9. Master, Luo Feng and Hong each sent you an email. Got it. He opened the messages. Both invited him to go outside Primordial Chaos City to hunt chaos beasts. Yue Ming replied that he'd be there soon. Hunting chaos beasts could yield chaos true spirits, and absorbing those spirits could transform the soul and hasten comprehension of origin law, exactly what he needed. Chapter 67, Chaos True Spirit. Luo Feng. When Yue Ming arrived at the entrance to Primordial Chaos City, he spotted Luo Feng and Hong standing before a huge stone tablet, studying it intently. From a distance, he could tell both of them had broken through to Universe Rank 9 peak. Apparently, they had applied for a nurturing pod just like he had. Brother Ming, come over and take a look, one of them called. Yue Ming hurried to join them. The tablet was covered in universal characters detailing chaos beasts. It explained that chaos beasts were strange creatures born naturally in the early state of the universe. Their appearances were bizarre and varied. Some were naturally aligned with many origin laws, some with only a few. When a chaos beast died, its body decomposed directly into a large amount of chaos chi and a single greenish-blue mode of light, the Chaos True Spirit. The Chaos True Spirit could be absorbed by the soul. After absorption, the soul would undergo a subtle transformation, becoming more compatible with the universe origin and improving perception of origin law fluctuations. Yue Ming, Luo Feng, you're both here, a voice said. Rong Jun swooped down from the sky and landed with a boom, walking barefoot toward them. You planning to go hunt chaos beasts outside the city? Yes, looks like you were just out. Did you hunt some? Luo Feng asked. I did, Rongjun replied. Be extremely careful. Many from our group have already died hunting them. What? Luo Feng and Hong exclaimed. They'd assumed chaos beasts were just targets for practice. People actually died? Rongjun's expression grew grave. I was surprised at first too, but after going out myself I understood. Chaos beasts are powerful, and their biggest danger is numbers. If you're not careful, you can get surrounded and ambushed. Many were killed that way. Be careful. After the warning, Rongjun left. The three of them discussed briefly, then set out from Primordial Chaos City. The Chaos Chi drifting outside the walls blurred sight, so they advanced with extreme caution. About 100 li from the city, they encountered their first Chaos Beast. It stood over 3 meters tall and resembled an ape, hunched body, long arms that nearly touched the ground, and a high tail. Its face was odd. A patch of white fur framed a single vertical brown eye and a mouth. It had no nose or ears. Brother Ming, Brother Hong, let me handle this! Luo Feng leapt onto his dark cloud shuttle. 9 golden lights flared up behind him, and 6 of them shot at the ape-like creature. The Chaos Beast moved with surprising speed, producing a series of afterimages. It dodged 3 of the golden swords, then with a deafening clang, its razor-sharp claws struck the remaining blades, knocking them aside. Heavenly sword style. Luo Feng's expression hardened. He fully activated his divine evolution weapon. Golden waves shimmered around him as 9 swords rose to form a sword domain. A sword condensed with countless sword chi sliced through the air like a dazzling rainbow and drove straight through the Chaos Beast. It collapsed. As the body fell, its golden blood, fur, bones and flesh decayed into Chaos Chi, and a greenish-blue mote drifted upward. Chaos True Spirit. Luo Feng's eyes brightened. He sent out divine thought to envelop the mote. The instant his divine thought contacted it, the Chaos True Spirit began to melt away into him. How does it feel to absorb one? Hong and Yue Ming landed beside him. It feels great. You'll see once you try, Luo Feng said. After absorbing the Chaos True Spirit, he noticed his perception of origin law fluctuations had sharpened by about 1,000th. They traveled several dozen li before finding another Chaos Beast. Hong raised his long spear and charged. After a brief struggle, he killed it. Its corpse decomposed into Chaos Ki, and another greenish-blue light rose. Hong absorbed it and felt the effect immediately. Although a single Chaos True Spirit produced only a small improvement, the cumulative effect of many would be substantial. Your turn, Hong told Yue Ming a little later. They soon found a solitary Chaos Beast. Yue Ming moved to strike, using fusion law to kill it with a single sword blow. He watched the light spot rise and sent out divine thought, but when it contacted the mote, nothing happened. No effect, Yue Ming frowned. He examined himself carefully. It wasn't that nothing happened, but that the effect was vanishingly small. If Luo Feng and Hong's perception improved by about 1,000th after absorbing a Chaos True Spirit, Yue Ming's improvement was only about 100 millionth, essentially useless. How can that be? It worked for both of you, Luo Feng said, incredulous. Do you think I'd lie about this? Hong asked. It definitely had an effect on us. Yue Ming shook his head. The Chaos True Spirit has almost no effect on me. I won't waste time hunting more Chaos Beasts then. I'll go back to Primordial Chaos City and go into seclusion to cultivate. All right, Luo Feng and Hong said, nodding reluctantly. Take care. Yue Ming returned to the city, entered his cultivation residence, opened the space-time jammer small world, and began seclusion. During this period, he planned to raise his water origin law comprehension to 30% in one push. Inside the small world, he cycled through hundreds of water element godheads. It took him nearly 5 years of concentrated effort to finally reach his goal. The water origin law comprehension has finally reached 30%. That was tough, he murmured. He sat cross-legged on a gray enlightenment stone about the size of a wash basin inside the space-time jammer small world, ready to continue his cultivation. Chapter 68, 10 years rank, universe rank 9, rank 3. Realm, water origin, law 30%, space origin law 22%, water space fusion law 15%, first layer. Genes, 100 times force exertion, 70 kim secret techniques, ice sealing heaven and earth, soul suppression, primal saint body, upper volume. His comprehension of the water origin law had reached 30%, enough to meet the preliminary requirement for the second layer of the water space fusion law. Only the space origin law remained. As soon as his comprehension of the space origin law reached 30%, Yue Ming could force a fusion with the law fusion device and begin cultivating the second layer of the ice sealing heaven and earth secret technique. Now that my water origin law is at 30%, the lower grade godhead hardly helps anymore. To keep improving it, I'd probably have to buy a mid-grade godhead, he thought. But there's no rush. I'll focus on getting my space origin law to 30% first. Yue Ming opened the chat group mall, sold the low-grade water element godhead, and bought a low-grade space element godhead to start his comprehension. The closer one came to mastery, the slower the progress. With his enhanced comprehension ability and an enlightenment stone aiding the process, Yue Ming estimated it would still take at least 20 years to get the space origin law to 30%. Without those advantages, the pace would be even slower. Years slipped by. 5 more passed, and it had been 10 years since Yue Ming began his seclusion. His space origin law comprehension had only risen to 22%. Comprehending the space origin law is even slower than I imagined. It's time to come out of seclusion. Staying hidden this long would look too odd, he decided. He planned to go comprehend a chaos tablet. He'd only used the Ice Peak Chaos Tablet once when he first entered Primordial Chaos City. Not coming back in 10 years began to feel conspicuous. Yue Ming went to the City Lord's mansion and bowed respectfully before the Guardian Kandri. Lord Kandri, may I use the Chaos Tablet? Is the secret room for the Ice Peak Chaos Tablet free? Kandri's face brightened. It's you, young one. I haven't seen you in ages. Must be 10 years. Many people beg for a chance to use the Chaos Tablet every day, yet you only come once a decade. You still have 6 chances left, and the secret room is empty right now. Go on in. Yue Ming bowed again, passed Kandri, and entered the secret room. He sat cross-legged beneath the Ice Peak Chaos Tablet and began to comprehend. 7 days flashed by. Kandri's booming voice echoed through the secret room the whole time, thundering in Yue Ming's mind until his head ached. Lord Kandri, could you speak a little softer next time? Yue Ming asked as he stepped out, rubbing his temples. Kandri grumbled. You're not the first to say that. Do you think I want to shout? It's not because your realm is low. When someone starts comprehending the Chaos Tablet, they get completely absorbed. If I don't use some method, how else can I wake you up? All right. It's our fault for having too low a realm, Yue Ming conceded. After a brief chat, he left the mansion and went straight to Third Senior Sister Venerable Xuan Yu's place. Her reaction was predictable, plenty of complaints. Yue Ming took the opportunity to sell her over a dozen star fruits and earned a hefty number of points. A notification sounded in his mind as he was leaving the elder's residence. He hadn't logged into the chat group in a long time. As his cultivation advanced, time felt less valuable. Long seclusion periods were common. Most group members rarely came online now. There had been Li Shanhe before, but lately sometimes no one was in the group at all. Li Jing, rank 4. Yue Ming, didn't you say to inform you when Li Shanhe and the others returned? They're back now. Yue Ming, rank 3. Li Jing, you broke through to rank 4? Congratulations. Yue Ming noticed Li Jing's rank change immediately. He had somehow advanced from rank 3 to rank 4. Global. Rank 4. Breaking through to rank 4 almost cost me my life. I had to plot against that gang of old schemers and seize their seed. Only after swallowing the seed did I finally break through. Rank 4. If you can scheme and kill old schemers, then you're an old schemer too. 3. Damn it, Lu Ming, you're rank 4 too? It's only been 10 years for me. How long has it been for you? Is it because I'm in Primordial Chaos City that the chat group's time runs faster? Lu Ming, rank 4. It's been about 12 years for me since you were last online. Really, time hasn't been that different between our worlds. You were still rank 3 when you joined the group. Now you're still rank 3. You haven't logged in for 10 years. It's not strange I broke through to rank 4. Rank 3. Fine. I must have overthought it. The chat group's timeline probably just follows the time experienced by its members. Rank 5. Do you still want to hear about the auction at the Myriad Heavens Mall Alliance? Stop interrupting. Go ahead and tell us. I'm curious about the auction. A record of a mortal's journey to immortality. Yue Ming rank 2. Yes, Brother Lee, please. I'm curious too. I was in seclusion, but when I heard you guys were back, I logged in right away. Li Shanhei rank 5. Forget it. I've made a document and uploaded it to the group's public screen. If you want details, download it yourselves. Yue Ming opened the group's public screen and downloaded the file. The document recounted Li Shanhei and the others' experiences at the auction, what treasures appeared, which Myriad Heavens big shots showed up, and other details. Chapter 69, Mall Alliance. Fourth Order, I didn't expect the auction to be so entertaining. Not only did countless coveted supreme treasures show up, but I also got to see so many 9th and 10th Order heavyweights. Yue Ming, Third Order. After the auction, the Myriad Heavens Mall Alliance even held a lucky draw. What I want to know most is, did you three win anything? After downloading the report, Yue Ming skimmed through it. What interested him most was that the Myriad Heavens Mall Alliance had held a lucky draw after the auction. The chat erupted. A record of a mortal's journey to immortality. Second Order. I regret it so much. If I'd known about the lucky draw, I would have shamelessly followed you, Brother Lee, to the auction. Yue Ming, Fourth Order. The Myriad Heavens Mall Alliance is really generous. A thank you lucky draw that awards an 8th tier supreme treasure for the top prize. Merchants really have deep pockets. Invincible East, First Order. Another day of envying the big shots. Their conversations are all too high-end for a newbie like me to butt in, but I'm curious. Who ended up with the grand prize? Li Shan in Fifth Order. It wasn't easy to win the top prize. I only got a consolation, a 5th tier treasure. But Qingyun was lucky. She won the second prize, a 7th tier supreme treasure. Tengchen, Second Order. I'll sell that supreme treasure. My cultivation rank is too low. No matter how excellent the treasure, I can't use it. Better to sell it to the chat group mall and convert it to origin points to push my cultivation forward. Tun Shan, Fourth Order. Wise decision. A 7th tier supreme treasure should fetch a lot of origin points. With those, you'll surge ahead, probably catch up to me soon. Everyone was clearly fascinated by the lucky draw. Except for Sectmaster Tongtian, who seldom came online, all group members were active. More messages followed. Lu Shanshan, Fourth Order. My luck was only a bit better than Li Shani's. I won third prize, a 6th tier treasure. Well, better than nothing. A 6th tier treasure was valuable. Exchanged at the chat group mall, it would net a large number of points, though Lu Shanshan cared most about origin points. The chat continued. Invincible East, First Order. Would it be okay to ask what treasures you all won? I'm just curious. No other reason. If it's inconvenient, forget I asked. Yue Ming admired Invincible East's boldness. He'd been equally curious, but felt embarrassment about asking. These matters were private, and asking could easily cause awkwardness or be misinterpreted as covetousness. Li Shan, Fifth Order. No problem. I'll appraise them at the chat group mall, take screenshots of the attribute appraisal, and post them here. The chat group didn't have a separate appraisal feature per se, but the mall always appraised items when they were listed for sale. Li Shani could simply request an appraisal and not actually sell. He posted an image to the group, a red and blue longsword. Lu Shanshan and Teng Qingyun followed, posting photos of a bead and a pagoda, respectively. Appraisal readouts. Li Fire Profound Ice Sword, 5th tier. Origin, Heavenly Cloud Immortal Realm. Forged from 10,000-year Li Fire Crystal and Extraterrestrial Profound Ice Stone. Specialized for shattering evil demonic and strange treasures. Chaos Bead, 6th tier. Origin, Low-End Primordial World. Naturally conceived within chaos, contains a chaos world within. Mystic Yellow Undying Talisman, 7th tier. Origin, Flying Immortal Swanhuan World. Formed at the dawn of heaven and earth, supreme treasure of the mystic yellow race. Looking at Liu Shanshan's photo, the bead swirled with chaotic colors, chaos chi eddying about it and throwing off faint radiance, the famous chaos bead. A thought struck Yue Ming. If a treasure like the chaos bead could hold a space within it, could he one day store a divine kingdom inside and carry it with him? In the swallowed star world, advancing to the immortal realm requires building a divine kingdom. Divine kingdoms are formed from the inner world after becoming undying and are typically constructed inside spatial rifts. The primary concern when picking a site is remoteness. Battles between strong cultivators can shred space and even occur inside spatial rifts. If a divine kingdom's location isn't hidden enough, it could be discovered or destroyed. If he could store his divine kingdom within a chaos bead-like treasure, he could carry it and be far safer, removing one major vulnerability. The divine kingdom evolves from the inner world. From undying to universe Lord, the kingdom expands continuously, and upon breaking through to true God, it finally becomes a miniature universe. If a divine kingdom is destroyed, the consequences are disastrous. The law cultivation path can be cut off. Because an undying's inner world can't be duplicated, losing it means losing the chance to build another divine kingdom. I need to speed up earning points, Yue Ming thought. At the very least, I must save up enough to buy a 6th-tier treasure before I break through to undying. There were countless treasures in the chat group mall. Many items similar to the Chaos Bead existed, most 6th tier, some 5th tier. Naturally, if one was buying, one wanted the best. Crucially, a 6th-tier treasure could already shield the will of the original universe. Entering one could protect and improve an inner world without being affected by the original universe's will. Everyone, I have something to say. I might go into seclusion for a while, anywhere from a few hundred to a few thousand years. During seclusion, I'll focus entirely on breaking through to the 6th order. I probably won't be online for a long time. A record of a mortal's journey to Second Order. Then congratulations in advance, Brother Lee, on breaking through to the 6th Order and becoming our chat group's first administrator. Liu Shanshan, 4th Order. I wanted to compete for that first administrator spot, but it seems impossible now. I'll probably go into seclusion too. I found a lot of useful things at the Myriad Heavens Mall Alliance's main store. I have a good chance of breaking through to the 5th Order. Although Li Shanhei and the others hadn't had origin coins and couldn't join the auction itself, the Myriad Heavens Mall Alliance's headquarters contained many shops selling excellent items. They could trade and barter those treasures to obtain items that aided cultivation. Chapter 70. Starfruit Tree. When word got out that Li Shanhei was about to break through to the 5th rank, everyone in the chat group offered their congratulations and wished him a speedy push to the 6th rank so he could become a group administrator. Outwardly, they were cheerful. Inwardly, who could say how sincere they were? There were only 9 administrator slots. Li Shanhei reaching the 6th rank would eat up one of those positions, and that made a difference to everyone else. Let's wrap it up for today. I'm going offline to cultivate in seclusion. I'll do my best to break through to the 6th rank as soon as possible. This time, it's a death seclusion. I won't come out until I make it. Then I'll go offline too. See you all later. After a few hours of messages, the chat quieted and people logged off one by one. Yue Ming went into seclusion, and 2 years flashed by. When he emerged, his first stop was the City Lord's mansion to study the Chaos Tablet. Then he went to see his 3rd senior sister, Venerable Xuanyu, to ask for help selling more starfruits. 3rd senior sister, I've brought 50 starfruits this time. Please help me sell them, he said, and produced the fruits from his small world. Yue Ming had intended to sell the starfruits gradually to build points over time, but he needed points faster now. He could always hand over a few starfruit trees if necessary. He had already bought and planted them in his small world. Starfruits can raise genetic levels. They're in high demand, Venerable Xuanyu warned, deliberately vague but unmistakable. But be prepared. Bringing out so many might attract attention from the upper echelons of the race. Yue Ming nodded. I understand, 3rd senior sister. Time passed, and 8 more years slipped by. Since Yue Ming had arrived in Primordial Chaos City, it had been 20 years in total. In that span, he emerged from seclusion roughly every 2 years to sell batches of star fruits through Venerable Xuan Yue's help, from 50 at first to 100 per batch later. Over 8 years, he sold more than 300 star fruits and accumulated a substantial number of points. One day, he received a message from his master, Ice Peak Lord. Log into the virtual universe and teleport to Thunder Island. Yue Ming had expected such a summons. He went straight to Thunder Island and bowed respectfully in the palace when he saw his teacher. "Greetings, teacher. I suppose you know why I called you," Ice Peak Lord said. "Tell me, where did you get so many treasures that can enhance genetic levels?" "You needn't worry," Yue Ming replied. "With you involved, no one will dare try to take my opportunity. I obtained the opportunity long ago and acquired a treasure called the Star Fruit Tree. The Star Fruit Tree blossoms for 1,000 years, bears fruit for 1,000 years, and ripens for 1,000 years. In 3,000 years, it yields 99 star fruits. After consideration, I decided to hand the Star Fruit Tree over to the race. With you protecting me, I believe the race will not treat me unfairly." Ice Peak Lord was pleased that his disciple wanted to cooperate, but he owed Yue Ming protection and fair treatment. "If you're willing to hand it over, the race won't let you be exploited. Wait here, I'll discuss it with Martial Uncle Chaos." He vanished from the palace and returned a few minutes later. "I did my best to fight for you. The race gave you 2 options. 1. Sell the star fruit trees outright. The race will pay 0.5 treasure points per star fruit tree. 2. Hand the trees to the race to cultivate indefinitely. You'll receive a 30% share of the profits generated. A one-time cash payment versus a long-term commission. The second was better for steady income, but Yue Ming had no patience to wait thousands of years. "I choose the first option," he said. "Are you sure?" Ice Peak Lord asked, surprised. "Most would choose the commission." "I'm sure," Yue Ming answered. He couldn't wait 3,000 years. By then, he expected to be a universe exalt. "How many star fruit trees do you have?" Ice Peak Lord asked. 500, Yue Ming said. Originally, he had planned to hand over just 5 or 6 trees he had already planted. But once he learned the race would pay 0.5 treasure points per tree, he bought more through the chat group's mall. Fortune favors the bold. Ice Peak Lord's surprise turned into delight. 500 trees meant almost 50,000 star fruits every 3,000 years, and the impact on the race's strength would be huge. A star fruit could raise the genetic level of a being with genes under 100-fold by 10 times. For undying and many exalts with modest genes, a steady supply of star fruits would greatly enhance the race over tens of thousands of years. "I'm not in the primordial universe at the moment," Ice Peak Lord said. "Take the star fruit trees directly to the City Lord's mansion. Find Martial Uncle Chaos and hand them over." "Yes, disciple will go at once." Yue Ming exited the virtual universe, entered his space-time jammer Small World, and sold off other treasures like Enlightenment Stones and Divine Sparks. He wanted to be unencumbered before meeting the City Lord. Then he purchased 500 star fruit trees in the chat group's mall. Including the 6 he had originally acquired, he now owned 506 star fruit trees. Stepping from his abode, he flew straight for the City Lord's mansion. Chapter 71, The Second Layer of the Fusion Law. The gates of the City Lord's mansion were always open. Yue Ming walked the familiar path with ease. In the past, he had come only to study the Chaos Tablet. This time, he went to pay his respects to the primordial Chaos City Lord. The mansion was divided into an outer and an inner compound. The outer compound was public. That was where the Chaos Tablet stood, and pilgrims and students often came to study. The inner compound, however, was heavily guarded. Its sentinels were undying spiritual gods. "Halt!" As Yue Ming approached the inner gate, 2 guards blocked his way and leveled their long spears at him. Their gazes were cold and unyielding, as if they would strike at once should he take another step. "Please inform him I am Yue Ming. I request an audience with the City Lord." "Let him in!" Before the guards could contend with him, a voice called from inside. A bald man in a fiery red battle robe came out smiling. "Junior brother Yue Ming, our first meeting. I am Venerable Gui Yi. Master ordered me to come receive you." "Greetings, Senior Brother Gui Yi." Yue Ming stepped forward and bowed. He knew of Venerable Gui Yi, the city lord's second disciple and a trusted steward. Though not the most exalted among the lord's disciples, Guiyi lived in the mansion year-round, managing its countless affairs. He was, in effect, the chief steward. "Your senior martial uncle has 3 clones," Guiyi said as they walked. "The one presiding over Primordial Chaos City now is the clone focused on killing. When you meet your senior martial uncle, show him due respect and do not provoke him. Thank you for the warning." It was no secret any longer that the Primordial Chaos City Lord had 3 clones. Each clone was terrifyingly powerful. The City Lord's fearsome reputation across the universe came from the slaughter his clones had wrought, not from empty boasts. Guiyi led Yue Ming to a secluded courtyard. Outside it stood a stone tablet etched with 3 vigorous characters: Chaos Ruins. Disciple Yue Ming pays respects to senior martial uncle. Yue Ming entered the courtyard and finally saw the legendary Primordial Chaos City Lord. He stood about 3 meters tall in dark red battle armor. A scaly tail sometimes extended from under his skirt and twitched. 2 horns jutted from his forehead. Strange markings of secret techniques etched his face, giving him a fierce, ancient air. Yet his eyes were calm and boundless, like an ocean that held the stars. Yue Ming looked up once and felt his entire being sink into a trance. Around the City Lord he saw the shimmer of origin laws, as if he faced the universe, origin itself. Most chilling of all, however, was the killing intent that flowed from him, so intense it could freeze the marrow. "Senior martial uncle," Yue Ming said, and then presented his case. "In my early years, I obtained an opportunity. I have 506 star fruit trees and over 20,000 star fruits. I kept a few dozen for myself," as Ping continued, opening his space-time jammer Small World and carefully laying the 506 trees and the heap of fruits before the City Lord. The fruits formed a small mountain. "Your master already discussed the star fruit trees with me," the City Lord said. "Your willingness to hand them over pleases master and me. The race will remember your contribution." "Star fruit trees are 0.5 treasure points each," the City Lord went on. "We will purchase them all. As for these 20,000 plus star fruits, we will credit you 3 treasure points for them." With a wave of his hand, the City Lord gathered the trees and fruits into his small world. Yue Ming ran the numbers in his head. He had once traded 15 star fruits for an ordinary heavy treasure with third senior sister Venerable Xuan Yue. That treasure seemed worth roughly 3 heavy treasure points, so 5 star fruits equaled about 1 heavy treasure point. 3 treasure points could be exchanged for roughly 10,000 heavy treasure points, a very favorable arrangement. The City Lord must have been compensating him for the long-term advantage the race would gain from owning so many trees. "Senior martial uncle, I have a small request. Could my authority be upgraded? I now have treasure points, but no authorization to exchange them for treasures." "All right," the City Lord agreed with a smile. "I will upgrade your authority, but it will be limited to exchanging for treasures in the race's vault." "Thank you, senior martial uncle." Guiyi watched him with a faint nod. "Your talent is exceptional, and you have many opportunities. If you continue the path of fusion law, there is still hope you may one day break through to the undying. Cultivate diligently. I look forward to that day." After leaving the mansion, Yue Ming returned to his residence and logged into the virtual network to check his account. His treasure points had been credited. Rather than exchange them for ultimate treasures directly, it was far more efficient to convert all treasure points into heavy treasure points and then use those to buy heavy treasures to sell at the chat group mall. He converted everything and ended up with 856,256 heavy treasure points. Then he swept the race's treasure vault, buying up the heavy treasures that were functionally useless, the ones nobody wanted. He also bought many ordinary attack and armor-type heavy treasures. He spent all 156,256 heavy treasure points in the process. After selling these acquisitions at the chat group mall, he turned the stock into an enormous balance, 448 billion trillion points. It was still not enough for rank 6 treasures, but rank 5 treasures were now easily within reach. There were still over 9 years before Yue Ming would leave Primordial Chaos City. In that time, he hoped to achieve the second layer of the water-space fusion law. Earlier, his chances had seemed slim, But with this capital, he could accelerate his cultivation. Yue Ming scrolled them all and searched for rank 5 items that boosted comprehension and aided enlightenment. He spent 2.7 million trillion points on rank 5 treasures designed to increase comprehension speed. For him, with a balance in the hundreds of billions of trillions, that cost was negligible. The effect was immediate. The speed at which he comprehended the space origin law increased several times. What had once taken decades could now be shortened dramatically. 3 years passed in seclusion. Yue Ming finally raised his understanding of the space origin law to 30%. Without hesitation, he activated the law fusion device and began to force the fusion of the water origin law with the space origin law. Rank: Universe rank 9, 3rd rank. Realm: Water origin law 30%, space origin law 30%, water space fusion law 30%, 2nd layer. Gene: 100 times power exertion, 70 times. Secret techniques: ice sealing heaven and earth, soul suppression, primal saint body. When purchasing heavy treasures earlier, Yue Ming had also bought the second part of the primal saint body. With that piece, his secret techniques were complete. He now possessed techniques for law, soul, and physical body. Only will-type secret techniques remained missing. Will techniques were rare in the swallowed star world, indeed across the primordial universe, and acquiring them would not be easy. Yue Ming planned to continue searching the chat group mall for suitable will-type techniques. Even imperfect compatibility with the cultivation system was better than none. He had to fill that gap. If I continue down the path of fusion law, he thought, my current law comprehension already meets the conditions to break through to the undying. Yue Ming considered his options. He could devote himself wholly to the water origin law, bringing it to 100% and breaking through that way. Or he could pursue fusion law. Reaching the 2nd layer might also allow a breakthrough to the undying. Law comprehension was only one requirement. His body's power exertion and his will also had to meet the threshold. At present, his power exertion was only 70 times, and his will barely exceeded that of ordinary universe-rank cultivators of similar standing, roughly at territory lord rank. He could slowly cultivate power exertion. Bringing it to 100 times would be time-consuming but feasible. Will, however, was harder to raise. It would improve naturally with realm breakthroughs and rigorous tempering, but the rate of improvement was slow. Purchasing a will-type secret technique was urgent. Chapter 72, Heaven-Severing Sword Intent. Yue Ming opened the chat group mall and used the search function to look for will-type cultivation techniques. A list of tens of thousands of techniques appeared. He filtered out techniques from other cultivation systems, mythology, magic, and so on, leaving only a few thousand that might be compatible with the swallowed star world's system. It wasn't that those other techniques were bad. Their systems were just too different from his. Yue Ming primarily cultivated the swallowed star system, and anything with poor compatibility would only make his progress inefficient and prevent him from unleashing the technique's full power. Supreme Pupil Technique, Heaven-Severing Sword Intent, Sky-Opening Divine Eye, Despairing Demonic Blade, Undying Divine Soul. He reviewed the candidates carefully. After nearly an hour of sifting through thousands of entries, only a dozen techniques proved reasonably compatible. Of those, only Heaven-Severing Sword Intent and Supreme Pupil Technique had compatibility scores above 80%. Yue Ming weighed his options and chose Heaven-Severing Sword Intent. Compared to the will-type secret techniques native to the swallowed star world, the Heaven-Severing Sword Intent was more offensive. Cultivating it would continuously refine and strengthen his will, and the Sword Intent's augmentation could boost the power of offensive secret techniques. Right now by about twofold, a capability the will-type techniques didn't offer. First, I'll cultivate Heaven-Severing Sword Intent. Once I've mastered the basics, I'll challenge Primordial Tongtian Mountain, then break through to World Lord in one go. Yue Ming planned. 5 years flew by, and Yue Ming finally reached initial mastery of the Heaven-Severing Sword Intent. His will advanced to the peak of Territory Lord rank. Now, if he fully activated the Sword Intent, he could erase enemies at the will level, so long as their will didn't surpass his. The Sword Intent also amplified his offensive techniques. For the moment, it doubled attack power. The 30 years of cultivation time in Primordial Chaos City is almost up, just over a year left. With that thought, Yue Ming's figure vanished from his small world. He logged into the virtual universe, entered the Tongtian Bridge plane, and arrived at the plaza at the center of the island. Custodian, I want to challenge the Heavenly Bridge. Custodian Boffin, who had stood watch over the Tongtian Bridge plane for countless years, looked surprised to see him. Oh, it's you, little fellow. It's been a long time, nearly 30 years, hasn't it? Other than that first time you came to Primordial Chaos City to challenge the Heavenly Bridge, I haven't seen you since. No wonder Boffin was surprised. Many of Yue Ming's generation came to challenge the Heavenly Bridge several times a year, but Yue Ming hadn't come once. I've been focused on cultivation these past years and haven't had time to challenge the bridge, Yue Ming said lightly. I'm about to leave Primordial Chaos City, so I came now. During those 30 years, challenges of the Heavenly Bridge awarded 10 times the usual points. Even small gains were worth taking. As for drawing attention from other races, being notable was unavoidable. His achievement of fusion law at the astral rank had already spread through the universe. He was almost certainly on assassination lists from rival races. Go on. The Ice Peak Tongtian Bridge is empty right now, Boffin said. Yue Ming nodded and soared toward the Ice Peak Tongtian Bridge. Boffin quickly sent out a mass notice, and soon countless figures appeared on the plaza. Zhenyan, Tongnan, those two again. Haha, isn't that little Yue Ming challenging the Heavenly Bridge? I came to watch. Hiss, Nine-Sword Exalt came? Not just Nine-Sword Exalt. Did you see Venerable Xuan Yu? That's a universe overlord. Hundreds of figures arrived on the plaza. The most eye-catching were Nine-Sword Exalt and Venerable Xuan Yu. In addition to Exalts and Undying, many prodigies from Yue Ming's generation appeared because of Boffin's notice. This is over the top. Brother Ming just challenged the Heavenly Bridge, and so many people showed up. Luo Feng gaped. 30 years in Primordial Chaos City had seen everyone make great progress. He'd reached the 3rd level, some the 4th, but when Yue Ming first arrived, he had passed the first 6 levels consecutively. No one knew how far he'd progressed in the intervening years. I want to see how Brother Ming handles the bridge, Luo Feng said, but only king-level immortals can watch the challenge feed. We don't have that authority. When Yue Ming entered the 7th level of the Heavenly Bridge, he chose a martial artist as his opponent. He drew his sword and struck casually, killing the Guardian with ease. The 8th and 9th levels fell quickly as well. It wasn't until the 10th level, already at the Undying Spiritual God standard, that he began to take it seriously. Yue Ming had to use the 2nd layer of water-space fusion law to kill that Guardian. Did he just use the 2nd layer of water-space fusion law? Did I see that? A voice exclaimed. You're not hallucinating. We all saw it. How many years has it been, and he's already mastered the 2nd layer of fusion law? How did he do it? It's unbelievable. Comprehending origin law is one thing, but fusion law is thousands of times harder. When Yue Ming displayed the 2nd layer of fusion law, the plaza erupted. Heads turned, whispers ran like wildfire. This is a heaven-blessed genius. Not once in 10 million eras, calling him a genius of 100 million eras would be more accurate. Nine-Sword Exalt praised him, though he felt a twinge of regret. He should have had the chance to take Yue Ming as a disciple, but as a high-level venerable, he wasn't a suitable master for someone of Yue Ming's caliber. Venerable Xuan Yu watched with interest. It turned out Ice Peak Lord had sent Xuan Yu to inquire when Yue Ming had been trading extensively in the clan treasury. Treasure points were precious. They didn't want them squandered. Yue Ming had only said vaguely that he was using them for cultivation. Seeing the display of the 2nd layer of fusion law, Xuan Yue misinterpreted the earlier explanation, assuming Yue Ming's exchanges had been for cultivation. I imagine teacher will be pleased, she thought. In the primordial chaos ruins of the City Lord's mansion, Primordial Chaos City Lord sat cross-legged amid the ruins, his eyes like the universe's starry sky, piercing through time and space onto Yue Ming. Classify all of Yue Ming's information as top secret. The virtual universe system immediately obeyed. All public videos of Yue Ming were deleted from the network. Only universe lords could view his information now. Little fellow, grow up quickly. Primordial Chaos City Lord murmured, expectation shining in his eyes. Yue Ming's talent was astonishing. Only a little over 40 years of age, and he had already reached the first layer of fusion law at the astral rank earlier. Now, before his 30-year tenure in Primordial Chaos City had ended, he'd achieved the second layer. Such talent surprised even Primordial Chaos City Lord. Why was the video deleted? He was about to reach the 12th level of the Heavenly Bridge, and I was watching, someone complained. It's the same here. Did the virtual universe system make a mistake? The system can't be wrong. It's the clan. I got an email from Primordial Chaos City Lord. Any information about Yue Ming is strictly prohibited. Me too. The Undying exchanged glances and silently withdrew from the virtual universe. In the collapsing Peak world, one of the three strongholds of the universe, Ice Peak Lord laughed heartily upon receiving the City Lord's email. Junior brother Ice Peak, you've taken a fine disciple. Over 40 years of cultivation and already the second layer of fusion law. With that talent, he'll at least reach top universe overlord, and his chances of breaking through to universe lord aren't small. Standing beside Ice Peak Lord was a man shrouded in dark aura. He had received the same notice. They both belonged to the virtual universe branch. Ha! My disciple is also your junior nephew, senior brother, he chuckled. But he still can't compare to yours. Your disciple is already a universe lord. Ice Peak Lord glanced at the ordinary treasure armor he had prepared as a gift for Yue Ming when he returned to the primordial universe. Seeing Yue Ming's display of talent, that gift suddenly seemed insufficient. That armor won't do. How can a mere ordinary treasure be worthy of my disciple? I need to prepare something better. Chapter 73, the 13th level of the Tongtian Bridge. From the 7th rung onward, Yue Ming cut through the Tongtian Bridge like a hot knife through butter, surging upward one level after another until he reached the 12th. The law comprehension demanded at the 10th level equaled that of an ordinary Undying. By the 12th, it matched the peak of an ordinary Undying. One more step would place a challenger on par with an Undying Army Master. With the heaven-severing sword intent enhancing his power, however, Yue Ming's secret technique, 1,000 miles of ice seal, doubled in strength. Even the 12th level Guardian couldn't hold out long. Seizing a single opening, Yue Ming killed him with one decisive strike. After that, he arrived at the 13th level. The battleground was a blistering star whose surface belched flames and unbearable heat. Choose your opponent, the system intoned. You may face a martial artist, a psyker master controller, or a mental force illusionist. Defeat your chosen foe and you may pass the 13th level. I choose the martial artist, Yue Ming replied. The star's flames flared and condensed midair into a 3-meter-tall figure of living fire. He wore crimson battle armor, a black mask, and a dark gold sword on his back. Little one, the fiery guardian said, his voice ringing with amusement, to reach the 13th level as a universe rank already proves you exceptional. A genius like you hasn't appeared among the human race for a very, very long time. He didn't attack immediately. Instead, he spoke as Yue Ming watched, curious. From your tone, it sounds like someone reached this level at universe rank before me, Yue Ming said. Who was it? There is no harm in telling you this. In the history of the human race, 3 individuals reached the 13th level while at universe rank before you, the Guardian answered. But I cannot tell you their names. None of them managed to pass. They all fell here. I hope you can do what they could not. He added a warning. Great talent is no guarantee of reaching the end. Many showed unparalleled promise in youth, but only a few ever became universe lords. What others could not do does not mean I can't, Yue Ming replied. I'm here to break records. Your warning is noted. The law comprehension required at the 13th level was already comparable to an Undying Army Master. Yue Ming didn't feel certain he could pass, but he refused to let his spirit waver. He had cultivated heaven-severing sword intent and could unleash will impact. With sword intent's enhancement, his attacks were doubled. It was at least conceivable he could defeat, or even kill, the Guardian. Then let the battle begin, the Guardian said. I hope you can truly break the record and become the first in human history to pass the 13th level at universe rank. I won't disappoint you, Yue Ming answered, drawing his blade. They struck at once. The two became 2 blurs, one red, one blue, colliding and weaving through the void with such speed that only afterimages remained. Each impact released tremendous shockwaves that shredded the surrounding space. At the fight's heart, the fabric of the void itself began to fracture, shattering into shards like a broken mirror, and a pitch-black inky chasm gaped open. This can't be a prolonged duel, Yue Ming thought. If it drags on, I'll lose. I have to end this quickly, decide it with a single blow. He had no choice but to employ a secret technique he had barely mastered, Frost World. The fusion law secret technique from the second level of Ice Sealing Heaven erupted, the water-space fusion law evolving into threads of secret runes that wove together and formed a domain, something that could be called a world only in name. Yue Ming could not create a true world with his present cultivation, but this domain was vast and potent, closer in nature to a sword domain on divine weapons. Where Luo Feng had used a divine evolution weapon to form his sword domain, Yue Ming used his secret technique and the water-space fusion law to evolve this frost world. Its range outstripped the sword domain, and its power was several times greater. Within the frost world, snowflakes fell, the star's temperature plummeted, and the surface flames were snuffed out. Ice spread across the star's surface, as if seeking to freeze heaven and earth itself. Even time and space were affected. Under the domain's pressure, the Guardian's strength was cut to roughly 80%, while Yue Ming's output rose by about 20%. The secret technique you've unleashed is powerful enough to suppress me, the Guardian growled, but it still won't defeat me. He unleashed a full-strength sword strike. Golden sword aura sliced through the chilled air, cutting through space itself and tearing through the frost world's blockade as if it were nothing. The blade's momentum drove it straight toward Yue Ming. 1,000 miles of ice seal, Yue Ming cried, pushing his technique to its limits. Sword intent, enhancement, will impact. He activated heaven-severing sword intent. The frost world surged as frost chi condensed and lent their power to 1,000 miles of ice seal, crystallizing into a brilliant blue ice sword. At the same time, Yue Ming sent out a will impact. The Guardian's will was strong, and though it resisted, the impact dazed him for a sliver of time. Enough. The blue ice sword pierced the void, tearing a long, thin rift in space. In an instant, it materialized before the Guardian and drove through him. Boom. The Guardian died under the ice blade, but his golden sword aura struck true as well, cutting off Yue Ming's head. Both fell almost simultaneously. Neither emerged victorious. They perished together. Does dying together count as passing? Came a thought as Yue Ming's consciousness slipped free of the trial. The moment he exited the Tongqian Bridge, an email arrived from the virtual universe system. Congratulations. Yue Ming had passed the 13th level. Because he had spent 30 years in Primordial Chaos City, the system awarded him 10 times the usual points. Although both he and the Guardian had died, Yue Ming had slain the Guardian and had been the quicker of the two at the decisive moment, so the virtual universe system judged his challenge a success. Congratulations, Your Highness Yue Ming, on passing the 13th level of the Tongqian Bridge and breaking the human race's historical record. You are the first genius to pass the 13th level at universe rank. Custodian Boffin's voice rang in his mind. Excitement clear. Yue Ming's figure appeared on the island plaza. Boffin's agitation was understandable. He had witnessed history. Though Yue Ming's profile remained top secret, as custodian of the Tongqian Bridge plane, Boffin could monitor the bridge's trials at any time. Custodian, you flatter me, Yue Ming replied modestly. I know my own limits. Passing the 13th level took great luck. In the end, it was mutual destruction, not a clean victory. After a brief exchange with Boffin, Yue Ming left the Tongqian Bridge plane. He applied to the virtual universe system to enter the Tongqian Mountain plane next, ready to push straight through the universe rank primordial Tongqian Mountain. Chapter 74, Conquering Tongqian Mountain. Bebe, apply to enter the Tongqian Mountain plane. Okay, Master. Not long after Yue Ming submitted his application, the virtual universe system notified him that he had gained permanent access to the Tongqian Mountain plane. The original Tongqian Mountain held extraordinary significance, an apex trial of an era. It was divided into Universe Rank, Territory Lord Rank, and World Lord Rank. The original Tongqian Mountain was notoriously difficult to conquer. Those who succeeded were true prodigies. Each original Tongqian mountain trial had 3 tiers: base, mountainside, and peak, and at each tier you had to defeat 3 opponents: a martial artist, a controller, and an illusionist. Martial artists were at a relative disadvantage, yet nothing in the universe was absolutely fair. Passing any of the 3 ranks awarded substantial points, though the rewards differed greatly. 100 million points for universe rank, 3 billion for territory lord rank, and 100 billion for world lord rank. U3, time to get to work. When Yue Ming arrived, a towering, majestic peak loomed before him. At the mountain's base sat 3 figures: a snake woman, an ape man, and a minotaur. Maybe because no one had challenged the original Tongtian mountain in a long time, they had grown bored, idly playing a game Yue Ming didn't recognize. White-skinned ape, someone's here. Someone's here indeed. Hurry up, work time. The 3 rose slowly, their movements clumsy, as if unused to motion. I wondered who would have the nerve to challenge the original Tongtian mountain. It turns out to be Your Highness Yue Ming. No wonder. The Minotaur, the most massive of the 3, grinned at Yue Ming. You know me? Yue Ming felt a flicker of surprise. Was his reputation really so widespread? Even the mountain guardians had heard of him. Your Highness Yue Ming is too modest. You cultivated fusion law at such a young age. How could many in Primordial Chaos City not know your name? The snake woman's voice was honeyed and delicate, her eyes mesmerizing. Meeting her gaze alone made the heart race. What a terrifying illusion. Yue Ming's heart tightened. If not for his special soul and his cultivation of heaven-severing sword intent, he could have been trapped by it. The snake woman's illusion was formidable. When battling inside the virtual universe, treasures and genes couldn't be manifested, so if he'd had a soul-suppressing orb protecting him, he could have ignored her completely. He'd nearly been caught anyway. You 3, I'm starting the challenge. Then come. Let us see how strong this so-called prodigy truly is. Your Highness Yue Ming, please show mercy to this humble one. The snake woman launched a formless mental assault. The ape man wielded a psychic weapon, and the minotaur hefted a colossal axe as they charged. Clang. 3 streaks of sword intent shot forward. In an instant, the minotaur's chest was pierced, the ape man decapitated, and the snake woman split cleanly in half. The battle ended before it truly began. The base tier had been far too easy. Yue Ming felt no pressure. Your Highness Yue Ming, you're heartless. You split me in 2. Yue Ming advanced to the mountainside and found the 3 guardians waiting again. The snake woman gazed at him with a pained, resentful look, like a spurned lover. Cough, cough, I'll start. He drew his sword and dispatched them almost as quickly as before. The snake woman's fate repeated, split in 2 by his blade. At the peak, the 3 surrounded him more carefully. This time their coordination was near perfect, and the final stage gave Yue Ming a little trouble. Still, his superiority showed. After a brief, intense struggle, he killed them all and conquered the universe rank original Tongqian mountain. Congratulations, Your Highness Yue Ming, on conquering the universe rank original Tongqian mountain, the 3 chimed in unison. Thank you. Yue Ming left the Tongqian mountain plain, planning to go into seclusion and break through to territory lord rank. The news of his conquest did not spread widely. Besides the mountain guardians, perhaps only the Lord of Primordial Chaos City knew. But such secrecy was temporary. No wall could hold back the wind forever. Even if the human race tried to block the news, it would eventually reach the alien races. Master, while you were conquering Tongqian Mountain, Luofeng and Hong both sent messages inviting you to meet at the usual place. Understood. In a quiet corner of a restaurant on virtual universe Yuxiang Mountain, Luofeng and Hong sat opposite one another with glasses of fine wine. They talked easily, laughing, sipping, and occasionally bickering, living like carefree young men. What are you 2 so happy about? Yue Ming appeared in a blue battlesuit, grinning as he approached. Brother Ming, finally here. We were just talking about you. Weren't you challenging the Heavenly Bridge? We were guessing how far you got. My teacher, King John Yan, said your information had been blocked by the Virtual Universe Corporation. Even undying beings and universe exalts don't have permission to view your data. No wonder. Yue Ming had wondered why his conquest of the original Tongqian Mountain had caused no stir. Now he knew. His records were sealed. I reached the 13th layer of the heavenly bridge. I died with the guardian, so I guess I barely passed the 13th. Freak, Luo Feng and Hong said together. They'd only made the 3rd and 4th layers themselves, years ago. After more cultivation, they were confident they could reach the 4th or 5th by the time the 30-year mark in Primordial Chaos City came, but the gap to Yue Ming remained enormous. Brother Ming, how do you cultivate? How do you comprehend origin law so fast? Is there some secret? Luo Feng asked, curiosity getting the better of his restraint. There's no secret, Yue Ming said. Just ordinary comprehension, only a bit faster. I also had an opportunity that gave me a head start. I believe you'll catch up. He wouldn't reveal anything about the divine spark, not until he had absolute security. A secret remained a secret, as long as only one person knew. Maybe, once invincible in the Universe C, he would share that spark to help the human race. For now, he kept it to himself. There's no shortcut, Hong said, shaking his head. I guess I took things for granted. Seeing Brother Ming's progress so fast unsettled me. You're right, steady effort, one step at a time, no chasing miracles. Luo Feng's expression hardened, his resolve clear. You two, come to my cultivation residence. I have a gift for you. Brother Ming, what is it? Why so mysterious? You'll see when you get here. They logged off one after another. Luo Feng and Hong already knew where Yue Ming lived. Soon they arrived and entered his small residence. These are star fruits, Yue Ming said, presenting 3 glowing fruits. They can increase gene level tenfold. Each of you take one. Hong, take the extra one and send it to Thunder God. Since the starfruit tree had already been handed over to the race, there was no issue with taking the fruit out. Luo Feng and Hong stared in disbelief. Brother Ming, this is too valuable. Yue Ming, we can't accept this. Gifts that raised gene levels were priceless. They hesitated, struggling with conscience. You must understand how valuable gene level increases are, Yue Ming said. If you feel unworthy, think of it as a loan from me. If you succeed in the future, repay me. They accepted the star fruit, but promised to repay him twofold later. Yue Ming smiled and didn't refuse. Once your gene levels increase, your speed of comprehending origin law will improve dramatically. Raising gene level brought many benefits. Strength was one, but the greatest gain was sharpening one's perception of origin law, strengthening the link between a person and the origin of the universe, making comprehension easier. Comprehension speed depended on many factors. First was innate comprehension ability. The better it was, the faster one learned. Second was the clarity of one's perception of origin law. Some people perceived it dimly, as if through gauze, making progress slow and inefficient. Others saw it clearly, grasping principles with half the effort and twice the result. Their progress outpaced others by far. Chapter 75, Breakthrough to Territory Lord Rank. What an incredible feeling. Increasing my genetic level really makes a difference. My perception of the origin law is suddenly so much clearer. Luo Feng's Earth-human clone and Hong ate the star fruit. Their genes were continuously optimized and upgraded, both jumping to the tenfold level. The benefits of a genetic level increase were obvious. The speed at which they comprehended the origin law leapt dramatically. If a tenfold genetic level does this much, then if it keeps rising, won't understanding the origin law be as easy as eating and drinking? Luo Feng finally understood why Yue Ming had advanced so fast. Genetic level made all the difference. Don't get ahead of yourself, Yue Ming warned. Treasures that raise genetic level are far more precious than you think. Many undying beings still have ordinary genes. Most universe exalts only have tenfold genes. Why do so many undying beings only have ordinary genes? Luo Feng asked. Because even if they sold everything they own, they still couldn't afford items like star fruits, Yue Ming replied. And the star fruit's best effect only works the first time it's consumed. Every subsequent use is weaker, halved each time, until it has no effect. Most other genetic treasures aren't even as good as a star fruit. The clan treasury had many items that could raise genetic level, but they were unimaginably expensive. Even many undying couldn't buy them. Luo Feng and Hong were stunned. They had known such treasures were costly, but they hadn't realized they were that unattainable. This showed how precious the star fruit Yue Ming had given them really was. It's not just about price, Yue Ming added. The clan tightly controls those treasures. You can't buy them without permission, no matter how much money you have. Anyway, enough about that. I plan to enter secluded cultivation for a while. I might break through to territory lord rank directly. Yue Ming changed the subject, and the mention of breaking through immediately captured Hong and Luo Feng's attention. Brother Ming, the 30 years of cultivation time in Primordial Chaos City isn't even over yet, and you want to break through to Territory Lord rank already? Territory Lords are sent out by the Virtual Universe Corporation. Do you know that? Luo Feng couldn't understand Yue Ming's hurry. In theory, geniuses like them could break through whenever they wanted, but almost nobody rushed it. Most stayed at the universe rank for years to lay a solid foundation and build reserves. You'll be competing with territory lords in the primitive mystical region who have cultivated for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. Our cultivation time is too short. Think it through. Hong shared Luo Feng's concern but said little. Yue Ming, however, seemed certain. I know what you mean. Don't forget who my teacher is. I've thought this through. I won't stay long at Territory Lord rank once I stabilize. I'll push on toward World Lord, so you don't need to worry about how the Virtual Universe Corporation will place me. Are there treasures in the Blood Luo world that can raise genetic level? Luo Feng and Hong asked eagerly. If that mission world had genetic treasures, they wouldn't miss it. I didn't say that outright. You're guessing. When you go to the Blood Luo world, don't rush your mission. Stay, explore, and uncover its secrets, Yue Ming said vaguely. Information about the Blood Luo world was classified by the Virtual Universe Corporation. He could only hint. I get it. Besides the Blood Luo world, any others worth checking out? Luo Feng asked with a smile. You'll have to explore the rest yourselves, but there's a Demon Mountain world that's more suitable for Psyker Masters. Yue Ming stopped there, and then the conversation drifted to Earth's development and other anecdotes. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. Luo Feng and Hong retreated to secluded cultivation, preparing to make a final push during the last year of their 30 years in Primordial Chaos City. Yue Ming also entered seclusion, meditating in his small world for 3 days until the final stage began. The aura around him surged. Boom! Yue Ming's aura climbed steadily. He devoured universe energy furiously, forming a terrifying energy vortex. He had prepared beforehand, buying many energy-replenishing treasures from the chat group mall, so his internal energy was replenished quickly and effectively. Inside his body, the spiral galaxy of his Dantian space, countless miniature stars and planets rapidly expanded. At their limit, they began to explode. At the center of his Dantian, a miniature black hole formed, erupting with devouring power and consuming stars, nebulae, dust, and all matter. As the black hole expanded, its consumption grew stronger, and the entire Dantian space was swallowed, leaving only the miniature black hole. The black hole then collapsed and compressed inward, eventually forming a singularity. Deep within that singularity, a gray sphere slowly condensed, the life core of a territory lord. The moment the life core took shape, Yue Ming's soul core began to silently merge with it. When the fusion completed, Yue Ming's body transformed. Bones, muscles, skin, every cell underwent monumental change, reforming and perfecting itself. Yue Ming felt his power surge more than tenfold. At that moment, he truly broke through to Territory Lord rank. Bebe, apply for a nutrient capsule, Yue Ming called out. Master, still requesting a 100-fold quota? Bebe replied. Yes. After breaking through, Yue Ming emerged from his small world and prepared to request a nutrient capsule to accelerate his rise to Territory Lord Stage 9. While waiting, he studied the singularity and the life core. The life core was the core of life. The soul had merged with it, which showed its supreme importance. The singularity was equally crucial. Within it, a world would gestate as the Territory Lord progressed from Stage 1 to Stage 9. When gestation succeeded, a fundamental transformation would occur, and the gestated world would become a true internal world. This was the break to World Lord rank. A World Lord literally contains a world and can mobilize that world's power with a gesture. An internal world can store items and harbor life, almost indistinguishable from an external world. To advance from World Lord to Undying, one must break the shackles of the internal world and merge it with spatial fragments in the universe's space-time rifts, transforming it into a divine kingdom. The larger an internal world, the harder it is to break those shackles. Luo Feng had been trapped at World Lord rank for tens of thousands of years in the original tale, but Yue Ming wasn't worried. He was only at 100-fold genetic level now, and, unlike Luo Feng, he didn't have 3 clones. His accumulated foundation wasn't deep. He intended to push up to Universe Lord as quickly as possible and didn't plan to linger at World Lord rank. Breaking those shackles, he believed, would not be difficult for him. Chapter 76. An Inquiry from the Lord of the Ice Peaks. He actually broke through to Territory Lord rank, but with his law comprehension, there's no reason for him to waste time at Universe rank. When Yue Ming emerged from the small world, the Lord of Primordial Chaos City noticed at once that Yue Ming had already broken through to Territory Lord rank. To break through to Territory Lord rank before the 30-year cultivation period in Primordial Chaos City is over, this must be a first in countless peak genius contests. By the rules, Territory Lord rank cultivators from the primitive mystical region must be dispatched to a universe nation for tempering, but let the Ice Peak Lord deal with it. I won't interfere. Primordial Chaos City Lord shook his head and chuckled. He would leave the arrangements to Ice Peak Lord. Your Highness Yue Ming, the nutrient capsule you requested has arrived. Please confirm receipt. Okay. About 2 hours later, staff from the Virtual Universe Corporation delivered the nutrient capsule. Yue Ming inspected it, found everything in order, and signed for it. Back at his cultivation residence, he took the capsule from his spatial ring, opened the hatch, stripped off his clothes, and lay down inside. Nutrient fluid submerged his body, and the strange substances in it began to penetrate every cell. As he absorbed them, his body transformed from within, and his aura surged outward. At this rate, within a year at most, I should break through the peak of the 9th stage of Territory Lord rank, he thought. Looking into the singularity of his small world, he saw that a new world had already begun to gestate inside and was expanding. If development continued at this pace, within a year the world inside the singularity would be fully formed, and he could break through to World Lord rank. Master, your teacher, the Ice Peak Lord, has sent a message. He asks you to meet him on Thunder Island. Beibei's voice echoed in his mind. Teacher wants to see me? Yue Ming replied inwardly. Although he was lying in the nutrient capsule, his consciousness could still enter the virtual universe. He logged in and appeared at the top of Thunder Island. Before he could even bow, Ice Peak Lord began lecturing him. How did you break through to Territory Lord rank? The Virtual Universe Corporation has rules. Territory Lord rank members must be dispatched. Didn't your 3rd senior sister tell you? And once you reach Territory Lord rank, you can't enter the Secret Realm worlds, nor obtain many of the benefits there. 3rd senior sister didn't tell me those things, Yue Ming answered. But it's not really her fault. She probably didn't expect me to break through while still in Primordial Chaos City. Besides, I don't value the small benefits from Secret Realm worlds enough to waste time at Universe rank. I don't intend to stay long at Territory Lord rank. I plan to break through to World Lord rank soon. Teacher, can you help me decline the dispatch? He really didn't want the dispatch mission. It would be a waste of time and exposure to danger from alien races. Ice Peak Lord had called the meeting mainly to learn Yue Ming's intentions. Since Yue Ming had already cultivated the 2nd layer of the fusion law, and his law comprehension was comparable to an undying, staying at universe rank would indeed be a waste. If you don't want to accept the dispatch, then don't accept it. Focus on breaking through to World Lord rank, Ice Peak Lord said. In fact, he had been planning to urge Yue Ming to advance as soon as possible. Thank you, teacher. Yue Ming felt relieved. Declining the dispatch would save him precious cultivation time and reduce the risk of assassination. A year passed quickly. After soaking in the nutrient capsule for a whole year, Yue Ming's cultivation finally advanced. Rank, Territory Lord rank, 9th stage, 3rd stage, Realm, Origin, Law 30%, Space Origin Law 30%, Water Space Fusion Law 30%, 2nd layer, Genes, 100 times Force Exertion, 70 times Secret Techniques, Ice Sealing Heaven and Earth, Soul Suppression, Primal Saint Body, Heaven Severing Sword Intent. My cultivation has reached the peak of the 9th stage of Territory Lord rank, and my will has already reached the initial stage of World Lord rank. It's almost time to begin breaking through to World Lord rank, he thought. To reach the immortal realm, law comprehension, physical force capacity, and will must all be in place. At present, only his law comprehension met the standard. "Come see me quickly," a voice suddenly echoed in his mind. It was a familiar voice, Ninesword Exalt. The 30-year cultivation term in Primordial Chaos City is almost over. Only 10 days remain, Ninesword announced. Soon figures began to emerge from their cultivation residences. Of the 1,000 geniuses originally sent to Primordial Chaos City, just over 800 remained alive. Overhead, a dark blue giant fish, nearly 1,000 meters long, swam through the void, and as the hatch of its peculiar spaceship opened, more than 10 figures flew out and hovered above the city. The leader was Ninesword Exalt. "Greetings, Exalt." The surviving geniuses bowed. Ninesword Exalt coldly regarded them. His snort fell like a hammer, forcing everyone to hold their breath. "Primordial Chaos City was arranged as the safest place for you, yet nearly 200 of you have died. You disappoint me." He stood in the void looking down. No one dared meet his gaze. "You have 10 days left before leaving Primordial Chaos City. Once you return to the primordial universe, it won't be as safe. If nearly 200 of you can die here, more than half might die in the primordial universe. Those who intend to challenge the Heavenly Bridge, do it. Those who are to comprehend the Chaos Tablet, hurry. Once you leave Primordial Chaos City, returning won't be easy." With that, Ninesword Exalt finished and departed. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief and dispersed, flying in different directions across the city. "Brother Ming, are you going to challenge the Heavenly Bridge?" Luo Feng and Hong approached. They planned to make one last push in the final 10 days. Within the 30-year period, challenges of the Heavenly Bridge earned 10 times the usual points. "I won't go." Yue Ming shook his head. "I can't pass the 4th layer of the Heavenly Bridge right now, so there's no point. I'm going to challenge the Territory Lord rank Primitive Tongqian Mountain instead. Once I pass it, I can break through to World Lord rank." "After eating the star fruit and improving our genes, our pace of comprehending origin law has sped up," Luo Feng said. "We've made a lot of progress this year. I won't claim I can pass the 6th layer, but I'm confident about the 5th. "I'm similar to Luo Feng," Hong added. "I'm confident I can pass the 4th layer. The 5th is unlikely, but I can try." "All right, then you two go for it. I won't accompany you. After you pass the Heavenly Bridge and comprehend the Chaos Tablet, let's pick a place to meet. We're about to leave Primordial Chaos City, and after that, we'll scatter. It may be many years before we meet again." Yue Ming, Luo Feng, and Hong were from different mystical regions: Primitive Mystical Region, Highest Beginning Mythical Region, and Doomsday Secret Realm respectively, so they knew how difficult future reunions would be. They agreed on a time to gather, then went their separate ways. Luo Feng and Hong went to the Tongqian Bridge Plain to challenge the Heavenly Bridge, while Yue Ming headed to the Tongqian Mountain Plain to confront the Territory Lord rank Primitive Tongqian Mountain and prepare for his breakthrough to World Lord rank. Chapter 77, Primitive Mystical Region. "You three, why do I always find you slacking off whenever I come by? Get up and get to work. I'm going to challenge the Territory Lord rank Primitive Tongqian Mountain." When Yue Ming arrived on the Tongqian Mountain Plain, he found the Minotaur, the Snake Woman, and the Ape Man again, all three sprawled lazily on the ground. "Your Highness Yue Ming, how did you break through to Territory Lord rank so fast? And you only just reached Territory Lord rank, already here to challenge Primitive Tongqian Mountain? Why not? Of course you can. When you challenge Primitive Tongqian Mountain is up to you, Your Highness." Then let's begin. The three Guardians launched a coordinated attack at once. Their cooperation was flawless, as if they shared a telepathic link. It made no difference. Yue Ming swung his sword intent split into three and flashed through the void, piercing the three bodies instantly. The Guardians' forms froze mid-motion, turning into three ice sculptures in the blink of an eye. They crashed to the ground and shattered. Yue Ming climbed the mountainside. The ascent itself demanded some effort, but caused him no real trouble. Only at the peak did he unleash his full strength, calling upon the heaven-severing sword intent. and even then, it was a struggle before he finally defeated the last of the Guardians. Congratulations, Your Highness Yue Ming. You have successfully passed the Territory Lord rank primitive Tongqian Mountain. The three Guardians who had been killed quickly revived and spoke in unison, offering their congratulations. Standing on the peak meant Yue Ming had reached the Territory Lord limit on that plane, an achievement many geniuses spent their whole lives chasing and never attained. Passing the Territory Lord rank, primitive Tongqian Mountain awarded 3 billion points, though the reward could only be claimed after breaking through to World Lord rank. That wasn't a concern for Yue Ming. He expected to reach World Lord rank soon. With the additional reward from the universe rank primitive Tongqian Mountain, he would have a total of 3.1 billion points. As for the World Lord rank version, Yue Ming didn't feel confident yet. He still lacked the second layer of the fusion law and might need to cultivate the third layer of fusion law to succeed. About half an hour after Yue Ming exited the Tongqian Mountain plain, Luo Feng and Hong returned. They had passed the fifth and fourth layers of the Heavenly Bridge respectively. Each received new opportunities to comprehend the Chaos Tablet and immediately went to the City Lord's mansion to use them. They were leaving Primordial Chaos City soon and didn't know when they'd return. They had to use the chances now. 7 days flew by. Luo Feng and Hong finished their comprehensions. The three of them met up. Such moments might be rare going forward. Come see me quickly, Ninesword Exalt's voice echoed in their minds that day, and figures streamed out of their cultivation residences. The 30 years of basic cultivation time in Primordial Chaos City has ended. Today you all leave Primordial Chaos City. This cohort has a relatively high mortality rate, but its achievements are outstanding. Ninesword Exalt named a few: Yue Ming, Yunhei, Bolan, Luo Feng, Rongjun, and others. The crowd stirred. Geniuses whispered and turned to look at those named, but by tacit agreement they ignored Yue Ming himself. He was so far ahead that people had grown numb to him and had no desire to catch up. The Primordial Chaos City Lord had classified all information about Yue Ming as top secret. The crowd did not know exactly which Heavenly Bridge layer he had passed, only that it was beyond the 10th. Custodian Buffin had announced he had passed the 10th layer before the information was sealed. Depart, Ninesword Exalt ordered. Everyone boarded the Peculiar Universe spaceship. They felt the old sensation of distorted time flow again, but compared with 30 years ago, they handled it much better, still pale and uncomfortable, but nobody collapsed on the floor anymore. The spaceship has left the primal universe and returned to the primordial universe. This marks the official end of your safest cultivation period in Primordial Chaos City. You will now be divided into 4 teams and sent to the primitive mystical region, the highest beginning mythical region, the Heaven and Earth Secret Realm, and the Doomsday Secret Realm, respectively. It will no longer be as comfortable as Primordial Chaos City. I wish you luck, and hope when I see you again, half of you are still alive. The ship decelerated and opened its hatch. They had returned to the Virtual Universe Corporation's pan-universal headquarters. Staff organized them onto different ships. Yue Ming and Bolan, primitive mystical region. You will depart with the Exalt. Wait here for him. Highest beginning mythical region members, board the rock-gray ship that looks like a meteorite. Heaven and Earth Secret Realm members, board the purplish-red ship next to it. Doomsday Secret Realm members, board the large ink-black ship. Under the staff's direction, everyone boarded. Friends bid farewells. The 4 secret realms were widely separated. Once they left, they would be hard to meet in person. Possibly years might pass before any reunion. Brother Ming, Brother Hong, goodbye. Yue Ming, Luo Feng, goodbye, goodbye. Luo Feng and Hong departed on their ship, and the others split into their 3 teams. Soon only Yue Ming and Bolan remained on the platform. The 3 ships rumbled and launched in succession. Yue Ming watched them fade into the distance. Yue Ming, Bolan, it's time to go, Ninesword Exalt said. They hurried aboard his ship. The hatch sealed, and the ship ascended. The primitive mystical region lay in the same star sector as the Virtual Universe Corporation's headquarters, so the journey wasn't long. At the heart of the primitive mystical region, a clone of the primordial Chaos City Lord was personally stationed, bearing the domain treasure Qianbao River. The ship sped through the dark universe at roughly 50 times the speed of light. 10 days passed in an instant. The ship vibrated as it crossed back from the dark universe into the original universe, then flew another half day and arrived at the residences of the region's core geniuses. Primitive mystical region, ninth spacetime has arrived. Ahead is where primitive mystical region members live, Ninesword Exalt announced. Beyond the external virtual display, Yue Ming and Bolin could see a ring of 136 gigantic stars rotating in the void, each orbiting the others with profound trajectories. These 136 stars form their own spacetime. The core members who reside within are exceptionally safe. Even exalts like us cannot enter. This is what the Virtual Universe Corporation has spent so much effort building for you, the primitive mystical region members. Spatial ripples spread ahead, and a magnificent golden universe spaceship, over 1,000 meters long, appeared. That is the ship coming to pick you up. Go ahead. Thank you, Exalt. They bowed, flew to the golden ship's hatch, and transformed into streaks of light. Crew greeted them as they arrived. Your Highnesses, welcome to the ninth spacetime of the primitive mystical region. The ninth spacetime is also called Wuchen spacetime, where successive Your Highnesses of the primitive mystical region reside. Please enter. We will escort you to your residences. Thank you. Yue Ming and Bolin stepped aboard, and the golden spaceship shot forward toward the ninth spacetime. Chapter 78, Breakthrough to World Lord Rank, Part 1. Junior Marshal Uncle, I'm Gujun. We finally meet in person. Gujun, hello. Yue Ming arrived in the spaceship's main hall and, as he expected, found a familiar face. His guard captain, Gujun, the seventh disciple of Venerable Xuan Yu. Gujun belonged to the three-eyed race. He had a vertical eye set in his forehead and stood over 3 meters tall, yet otherwise his features resembled those of ordinary humans. They had only met before in the virtual universe. This was their first meeting in reality. Neither felt awkward. After 30 years together on Mount Shangyu, they were already close. Junior Marshal Uncle, the ninth spacetime is also called Wuchen spacetime. The vast continent ahead is Wuchen continent. That will be where you cultivate from now on. The Golden Universe ship slipped into the ninth spacetime. A massive floating landmass rose into view, its surface dotted with intricate palaces. Yue Ming watched the distant stars and, from their motion and arrangement, felt the hint of a familiar law stirring in him. Space origin law, he murmured. He realized the sensation came from the space origin law. Beside it, he could faintly sense another origin law, less clear but present, the time origin law. From the outside, you can only see 136 stars. You can't see the core Wuchen continent. All members of the primitive mystical region live on that continent, Gu Jun explained. Those 136 stars are artificial planets created at enormous cost by the Virtual Universe Corporation. Those 136 stars operate automatically to form the spacetime. Anyone who attacks or trespasses will be resisted by this spacetime. The attacks are reflected and dissipated onto those 136 stars. After all, the brightest geniuses in the primitive mystical region have always lived here. Safety is everything. They need defenses against assassination attempts by powerful outsiders. Even the assault of a king-level immortal would be of no consequence to this space-time. A group of venerables wouldn't dare break into Wuchen continent. Gu Jun, who had once belonged to the primitive mystical region, spoke tirelessly and with intimacy. About half an hour later, the ship landed on Wuchen continent. The territory stretched on without visible end. Gu Jun, which manor do you recommend I choose? Every member of the primitive mystical region could claim a manor on Wuchen continent. Each manor covered nearly 1,000,000 kilometers. Junior Marshal Uncle, take whichever you like. The manors are very similar. There's not much difference. I'll take manor number 118. Yue Ming chose manor number 118. Gu Jun and his guard detachment would live within the manor's territory. As they walked, plants and flowers grew in lush profusion. Spirit grass and spirit wood, rare and precious on Earth, sprouted everywhere like weeds here, a testament to the overwhelming richness of universe origin energy in the primitive mystical region. A faint, omnipresent mist hung over the void realm. Junior Marshal Uncle, look, the mist floating through the void realm is actually condensed universe origin energy, Gu Jun said, plucking a handful of the vapor from the air. He compressed it in his fist, and it solidified into a large crystal in an instant. Universe crystal, he added. Yue Ming looked at the crystal with mild surprise. Universe crystals, condensed universe origin energy, were a hard currency across the universe. Yet here they could be formed at will. Don't be surprised, Gujun said. The rich universe origin energy is one of the primitive mystical region's benefits. More importantly, cultivating here makes it easier to sense the universe origin laws. As the best secret realm for nurturing clan geniuses, the cultivation conditions here far exceed those of other realms. That's why so many people crave a place here. Gujun led them to manor number 118, where a company had already gathered at the main gate. 10 world lords, 100 territory lords, 1,000 universe rank practitioners, and tens of thousands of astral rank servants knelt as Yue Ming and his retinue arrived. Rise, Yue Ming ordered. Gujun, I'm going into seclusion to prepare my breakthrough to world lord rank. Don't disturb me unless it's important. I'll leave the manor under your management. Yue Ming was preparing for a breakthrough and had no time for administrative matters. Gujun, as a disciple of Venerable Xuan Yue, was trustworthy. Junior Martial Uncle, rest assured, go into seclusion, Gujun replied. He had promised his teacher to act as Yue Ming's guard captain, and he intended to keep that promise. But duty wasn't the only reason a proud Marquise Undying like Gujun would take the post. His teacher had already recognized Yue Ming's genius. Having reached fusion law at the astral rank, Venerable Xuan Yue believed Yue Ming would at least become an invincible champion and quite possibly a venerable. Gujun's assignment was an early investment. In the Virtual Universe Corporation, a Marquis Undying was nothing special. Champions were common, but invincible champions were rare. If Gujun had declined, many others would have vied to be Yue Ming's protector. Yue Ming had not disappointed. In 30 years in Primordial Chaos City, he had progressed to the second layer of fusion law again, an achievement that marked him as a future universe overlord. Any ambitious Marquis Undying would have wanted to attach themselves to such a talent. I can begin the breakthrough now. The manor had a dedicated seclusion chamber. Yue Ming spent 3 days inside, adjusting his state until everything was ready, and then began. Rumbles sounded as the singularity inside his seclusion chamber began to ravenously consume universe energy. A massive energy vortex swelled above his head, sucking the endless mist from the void realm with furious force. Junior Martial Uncle has begun his breakthrough. Gujun looked up and saw the vortex. He immediately ordered the guards to seal the manor, allowing no one to approach. Relying only on ambient universe energy would be too slow, so Yue Ming had long prepared numerous treasures to supplement his supply, purchased with points from the clan treasure vault. In 30 years on Primordial Chaos City, he had cleared the Heavenly Bridge's 13th level and accumulated over 80 million points. Points were of no use sitting idle, so he had converted them into necessities. As the Singularity's world devoured more and more universe energy, its domain expanded and entered its final phase of transformation. Within that world, Yue Ming's life core underwent astonishing changes. The white crystal that represented his soul and the gray crystal that represented his origin power melted into liquid torrents under an invisible influence. The two torrents flowed together. When their forces finally touched and his consciousness and will fused, the first wisp of world power appeared in the Singularity's interior. The birth of that wisp of world power was decisive. It marked the Singularity's transition toward becoming a true world. Chapter 79, Breaking Through to World Lord Rank, Part 2. This is my inner world resonating with the origin of the universe. When the first wisp of world power was born inside his inner world, Yue Ming's inner world truly became a world. But for it to complete its metamorphosis, to become a fully fledged world, it still needed an endless supply of origin energy. Under the influence of world power, his inner world began to resonate with the origin of the universe, and a thread of Yue Ming's consciousness faintly brushed against that boundless origin. He felt the primordial universe, immeasurably ancient, vast beyond imagining, the greatest source of power and the cradle of countless forms of life. Compared with it, even the primal universe that existed independently in the Chaos Sea felt insignificant. As his consciousness connected deeper, it slipped into the origin land of the universe. The origin land was unimaginably huge. In that endless expanse, every grain of sand seemed like a space in itself, and within each space were countless universe crystals. A single grain of sand, a whole world. Each world held an inexhaustible store of origin energy. Yue Ming was stunned. What he perceived was surely only a sliver of the origin land's true size. As his consciousness made contact, an invisible channel opened between his inner world and that great origin land. Origin energy poured into his inner world like a flood. In moments, the torrent of energy had filled every corner of his inner world. To the origin land, filling one inner world was trivial. A single grain of sand, with the energy contained in its universe crystals, could probably replenish hundreds or thousands of inner worlds. This was an opportunity that rarely presented itself, perhaps only at the moment of breaking from territory lord to world lord. Yue Ming felt the chance keenly. He took control of the origin energy and began to shape his inner world. Condense! Under his will, the origin energy compressed, and 5 vast continents took form: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, each manifesting the character of its element. Rivers and seas quickly spread, and islands dotted the oceans. Life sprang into being. Plants, flowers, mountains, and living ecosystems evolved naturally. In an instant, his inner world became indistinguishable from a true world. It was complete. Condense. The surplus origin energy crystallized into mountains of universe crystals. Though producing and perfecting the inner world consumed a vast amount of energy, Yue Ming's inner world continued to draw even more from the origin land. Most who reached World Lord rank might experience such a boost, but no ordinary World Lord could absorb as much as Yue Ming had. His intake was at least 100 times greater than that of a typical World Lord, no doubt connected to his 100-fold genetic advantage. Inside the Singularity Life Core, 2 crystals, the white crystal embodying his soul and the gray crystal of source power, fused under the influence of universal law. They slowly merged with the singularity and crystallized into an origin pearl. The origin pearl was the World Lord's life core. It carried the inner world and symbolized the fusion of core life forces, the singularity, soul, and source power. Yue Ming looked inward at the origin pearl. It was a simple, unadorned gray sphere, unremarkable at a glance. Yet within it lay an entire vast world. Compared with an ordinary World Lord Stage 1, his inner world was enormous. Where a typical Stage 1 World Lord's inner world might measure around 10,000 kilometers in diameter, Yue Ming's now reached 1,000,000 kilometers. That was the payoff of a high genetic level. A larger inner world would later mean a larger divine kingdom when breaking through to the immortal realm. Luo Feng, for example, had an inner world 1,000,000,000,000 kilometers across at World Lord rank, and when he ascended, his divine kingdom rivaled those of powerful universe exalts. That came from careful foundation building and long-term reserves. But Yue Ming had chosen restraint. A larger inner world also makes the next break, into the immortal realm, far harder. Luo Feng had stalled for tens of thousands of years at that step. Yue Ming couldn't afford such a delay. He preferred to advance faster now. He had methods to expand or improve his genetic level later if needed. There was still one final step. His body needed to metamorphose. Boom. A strand of world power entered his body, and Yue Ming guided it slowly inward. His tissues began to change. Confirming there were no complications, he increased the infusion. As world power continued to integrate, his bones, muscles, skin, and cells all became denser and stronger. The leap from Territory Lord Peak Stage 9 to World Lord Stage 1 was an evolution in life level. Yue Ming felt it. His basic physical strength had increased roughly tenfold compared to Territory Lord Peak Stage 9. Strength was only the beginning. From World Lord Stage 1 to Stage 9, each advancement doubled basic strength. From Territory Lord Stage 9 all the way to World Lord Stage 9, the increase amounted to well over 2,000 times in basic power. Even more important was his mind. During the World Lord period, consciousness could communicate with the origin land, accelerating the comprehension of origin law. That speed rose by at least 100-fold compared to the Territory Lord period. No wonder people said the World Lord stage was the most conducive stage for understanding origin law before reaching Universe Lord. Yue Ming smiled inwardly. All his haste, striving for territory lord earlier in primordial Chaos City, then secluding himself in the primitive mystical region to push on to World Lord, had been for this moment. With the hundredfold increase in comprehension speed and the guidance of a divine personality, plus his treasured supports, his progress could leap forward. He reviewed his cultivation plan for the coming decades. First, cultivate the heaven-severing sword intent and push his will toward the undying stage as soon as possible. Second, cultivate the primal saint body to raise his bodily exertion to 100-fold. Finally, continue to study origin law and aim for the third layer of fusion law. But before all that, he needed to raise his realm to World Lord Peak Stage 9, so he would apply for a nutrient cabin. Bebe, apply for a nutrient cabin. Okay, master. As Bebe's projected form responded, Yue Ming hesitated briefly. Should he give Bebe a mechanical heart? Make it a true intelligent life form so it could cultivate in its own right? The thought lingered as he prepared the application. Chapter 80. Chat Group Rank. 4th Tier. Bebe, after you apply for the nutrient cabin, buy another mechanical heart. Yue Ming had decided to buy a mechanical heart for Bebe. It was a reward for accompanying him all those years, and a practical investment. Once an auxiliary intelligent life form recognized its master, it would never betray that master. A little money for Bebe's evolution was nothing to him. He had no shortage of cultivation resources, and if Bebe worked hard, it might even be possible for it to break through and become an undying one day. Master, you. Bebe's voice trembled. It knew exactly what a mechanical heart meant. Yue Ming did not need one for himself. This was clearly meant for Bebe. Yes, it's for you. Cultivate well from now on. Thank you, master. Bebe will cultivate diligently and will not disappoint you. A mechanical heart was priceless for an auxiliary intelligent life form. Auxiliaries like Bebe had self-awareness and emotion similar to humans, but they weren't considered true life and could not cultivate on their own. With a mechanical heart, however, Bebe could evolve into a genuine intelligent life form, able to cultivate and comprehend origin laws. Mechanical hearts were treasures of the automaton race and were rarely sold. They were extremely scarce and prohibitively expensive within the human race. Ordinary undying couldn't even afford them. For Yue Ming, though, the cost was negligible. 10, even 100 mechanical hearts would hardly matter. Yue Ming's cultivation had advanced enough that a trace of his consciousness was almost like a computer. When he had been weaker, he needed auxiliaries. Now, with Bebe evolving, he wouldn't need it clinging to him. That was good. He guarded too many secrets, the chat group and the law fusion device among them, and he could not risk them being exposed. He had always kept Bebe from following him into small worlds because he feared that when logging into the virtual universe, Origin Ancestor might detect something from Bebe. The virtual universe was Origin Ancestor's creation. Who knew what secret techniques he could use to probe through an auxiliary? Even if the risk was small, Yue Ming wouldn't take it. Origin Ancestor was not a villain, by all accounts a great figure without whom the human race might not exist, but for certain secrets, Yue Ming trusted no one. Junior Marshal Uncle, the nutrient cabin you applied for and the mechanical heart you purchased have arrived. Bring them in. Perhaps because he was in the primitive mystical region, the nutrient cabin and the mechanical heart arrived in less than an hour. Along with the mechanical heart came a mechanical body provided for free, an item of negligible value, or it wouldn't be complimentary. Bebe, for instructions on using the mechanical heart, read the manual or log into the virtual network to learn. After you evolve into an intelligent life form, cultivate well and don't disgrace me. After a few words of encouragement, Yue Ming didn't linger. He lay down in the nutrient cabin. This was his third time using one. Thank you, Master. Bebe will forever remember Master's kindness of rebirth. No auxiliary didn't long to become a true intelligent life form. For Bebe, the dream had finally come true. The speed of cultivation improvement is a bit slow. It will take at least 10 years to break through from World Lord rank 1st tier to 9th tier peak, but that's acceptable. Universe rank nutrient cabins could raise someone from 1st tier to 9th tier in a few months. Territory Lord rank cabins took a year to do the same. At World Lord rank, Even with top-grade nutrient solution provided by the Virtual Universe Corporation, it still required at least 10 years. Ordinary nutrient solutions in the outside world would take decades to go from Territory Lord First Tier to Ninth Tier, and even longer at World Lord rank. That was the advantage of being tied to a major power. Although my comprehension of origin laws at World Lord rank isn't slow, without a divine spark and Tao comprehension treasures, the pace is still too sluggish for me. In that case, I'll focus on cultivating heaven-severing sword intent. Yue Ming would be in the nutrient cabin for at least 10 years. He couldn't just do nothing. Comprehending origin laws and cultivating the primal saint body were inconvenient within a nutrient cabin, so he decided to concentrate on heaven-severing sword intent to advance his will realm. In truth, his original plan already prioritized the sword intent and will cultivation. Time slipped away. 11 years passed. Finally, I've break through to World Lord rank 9th tier peak. After 11 years in the nutrient cabin, Yue Ming's cultivation advanced to World Lord rank 9th tier peak. Rank: World Lord rank 9th tier, 4th tier. Realm: Water Origin Law 30%, Space Origin Law 30%, Water Space Fusion Law 30%, 2nd layer. Gene: Wonder times Power Exertion, 70 caps, Secret Techniques, Ice Sealing Heaven and Earth, Soul Suppression, Primal Saint Body, Heaven-Severing Sword Intent. Besides the realm breakthrough, the biggest gain is that heaven-severing sword intent has finally reached the 2nd layer, and my will has broken through to the undying stage. Heaven-severing sword intent was harder to cultivate than he'd imagined. After 11 years, he'd only reached the 2nd layer. The intent had 9 layers in total. Still, the 2nd layer allowed his will to break into the undying stage. When he activated sword intent to boost offensive techniques, it amplified their power 4-fold. The chat group's rank evaluation has reached the 4th tier. Yue Ming checked the attribute panel without surprise. This was expected. His law comprehension already surpassed ordinary undying, and with a 100-fold gene level, his inner small world was 100 times larger than an ordinary world lord's. While a typical world lord rank 9th tier peak had a single unit of world lord power as basic strength, Yue Ming's basic strength now amounted to 100 units. An ordinary undying spiritual god also had about 100 units. In law comprehension and base power, Yue Ming had reached undying level. He did not lack treasures, and his law fusion offensive techniques were formidable. Offensively, he could match an ordinary undying spiritual god. Coupled with the 2nd layer of heaven-severing sword intent, a 4-fold attack multiplier, Yue Ming was confident he could kill an undying spiritual god who lacked a heavy protective treasure. However, an undying's body is a divine body, immortal lifespan, speed approaching or exceeding light, and a fusion of energy and life imprint. Damaging divine power meant eroding life imprint. As long as any divine power remained, an undying could survive. To truly annihilate one required obliterating all their divine power, something Yue Ming did not possess. My law comprehension and will meet the standards for breaking through to undying. All that remains is my physical power exertion. Yue Ming planned to continue comprehending origin laws while cultivating the primal saint body. By the time he reached the 3rd layer of his fusion law, his power exertion might also reach about 100 ds, and then he could break through to undying. Yue Ming, come see me quickly. A voice suddenly echoed in his mind. Yue Ming recognized it immediately. His teacher, Ice Peak Lord. Isn't teacher not in the primordial universe? Has he returned? The last time Yue Ming had seen Ice Peak Lord in the virtual universe, his teacher said he wasn't in the primordial universe. Although he hadn't revealed his destination, Yue Ming suspected he had been exploring the Universe C. Now Ice Peak Lord's voice transmitted directly into his mind in a way the virtual universe couldn't achieve. That could only mean one thing. Ice Peak Lord had returned from the Universe C.